Hi, guys. So I'm going to go over the energies and the transits that are happening in July. And I'm going to do a quick overview. Then I'll go through all the signs and tell you what's happening for you. But the energies of July, it's majorly about softening and softening into your higher self and back into source and letting go of all the ways we kind of blocked ourselves off and kept ourselves limited in the ego. So we can kind of be in more so in the heart and more so in the flow with life and allowing and trusting so we can receive more of what we want. So we can follow the river back to source and allow that transformation and allow that healing. So whenever you're feeling a little lost or negative or just frustrated, you can really tune in to, just how you want to open up your heart and how you do want to feel and how you can have more love and gratitude in the moment. So you can, kind of surrender and just allow more versus getting too stuck in the ego. It's a month where we can kind of soften and relax into life and embody more of our frequency and see how powerful that is when we allow ourselves to do that and how much more magic can happen in your life and when it's easy. So you can just allow and not really lean into the agendas. You just lean into more love because most of this month is Cancer season. So we're really, getting grounded into home, and home is within us. At the end of the day, home is our foundation and our family, but home is how we can get into that core of who we truly are, is how we can always have home within us and how we can just allow the life that we really want to resonate out inside of us first, so it can resonate outside of us. So you can radiate the presence within and just, allow more trust and flow and, beauty into your life. Okay, so we'll start out with, the transits. I'll talk about the transits and, the energies of them. I also pull some cards too, so I'll pick them up randomly. But yeah, we have Venus in Gemini, Venus moving into Gemini on the 4th. And that's really fun. That's really playful. That's really exciting. It's kind of like bantery. It's not too serious. It can be a little surface sometimes, but I do love Venus in Gemini because it balances out the mind and the heart. It balances out both sides of the brain even. So this can really give us, a bunch of different perspectives when it comes to what we value and how we can maybe have more of that mind-heart balance to attract more of what we want. And this is like a whole new energy coming in too, because Uranus is also moving into Gemini. And I would say this is a powerful month to do those robotic affirmations. We're going to be able to manifest so much faster with Uranus and Gemini. So it's all about, is your mind in the right place, and if it's not in the right place, start robotically affirming all day, every day until you start paying attention to more of what you want and more of what you want to create in your reality. And you can watch these manifestations come in pretty fast. Oh yeah. Also on the 4th, I forgot, Neptune going retrograde. So you got to be a little careful when Neptune goes retrograde because Neptune is illusions and delusions. So we have to have a lot of discernment, and it is nice at least that, Mars is in Virgo. So we can definitely have a lot of discernment, with what's right for us, what's not right for us, because with Neptune so close to Saturn, we don't want to trap ourselves or fall into more karmic situations, because this is majorly dissolving karma at a really fast rate, as long as we're believing in ourselves and stepping into that higher version of ourselves and not falling into past victim mentalities or past just anything that seems too good to be true is usually too good to be true with Saturn or with Neptune going retrograde. And with Neptune going retrograde, sometimes we have a bubble popped, an illusion just revealed So we can see clearer now. And Neptune, you will always be deceived by Neptune. Like it is like, I mean, obviously, as long as you're acting out of love and, the higher aspects of humanity, then you won't get too deceived or anything. And you'll be attracting the higher things to you. But just beware of, Neptune deceiving. And sometimes Neptune deceives us for the right reasons. Like we totally want to go after this dream and this, thing that we've been imagining in our head. And it's supposed to take us on a spiritual journey, so we go where we need to actually go. So this is a part of just that surrendering and letting go of control and releasing the ego, because Neptune will make you release the ego, like for sure, and get you to the place and the soul lessons of where you're actually supposed to be and what you're actually supposed to know. So you learn those lessons. So you kind of get more in touch with oneness and, just the flow of everything and everyone. So whatever fantasies that we're releasing or that we got more clarity on, at least we can recognize where we can imagine the new, where we can get in touch with our internal world and, check in with source and find more of that inspiration of where you want to go and what you want to dream next. And with Neptune so close to Saturn, it's just releasing those bigger karmic cycles that, we were stuck in before that we were just unaware of. That's what karmic cycles are, most of the time is just, patterns and, cycles that aren't fun. Whenever you're stuck in karma, it's, all the bad stuff in life. And you just get more awareness of how you can let that go so you can elevate into higher cycles where you can manifest higher things. And Neptune's actually really powerful too, because we can, just tune into ourselves, like have more faith and trust in ourselves. And the more that we do that in our higher selves versus the ego self, because sometimes our ego kind of blocks us off to receiving the higher things. And when we get more in tune with our higher self, we can receive the better relationships. We can receive the better opportunities. We can just allow more of that flow and trust and, just fire within us to radiate more so out. And, release any of the blocks that have been, holding us back, especially with this full moon in Capricorn on the 10th. This is a powerful full moon. I do like, Capricorn energy is always about the long term and, climbing that mountain and achieving. And what do you want to achieve next? But at the same time, what do you need to let go of, especially when it comes to old karmic cycles? Because there's a nice trine to Mars in Virgo too. And Mars is getting closer and closer to the South Node. So we're releasing the way we take action in such a analytical way, where we're just thinking maybe too logically, too practically. Again, this is the ego and the mind too, where we can actually just surrender and have more faith and trust and flow with the universe and dream that bigger dream. Be Delulu. It is winning to be Delulu right now with, the North Node in Pisces. And you don't really have to know how you're going to get there, but you have to have those long-term goals that you want to work towards and release any of the ways that you have restricted yourself. And sometimes this could be stories, sometimes this could be stories from the past and in childhood and, just your family story. What needs to be released? What is an old story that you've been internally telling yourself that's not actually connected to source in the higher, the higher guidance that is kind of weighing you down? And actually, this card that I pulled is perfect for this. So brilliant beliefs, luminous life force, personal power, I think is what we're getting in tune with that Capricorn full moon. So let me read it because this is kind of perfect for the overall energy too of July. So brilliant beliefs, luminous life force, personal power. 2 snow leopards accompany the priestess of the galactic sky. As she emerges from the night with a luminous ball of ethereal light, this priestess is telling you that, like her, you can project a brilliant life force of energy out into the world. Her heart center shines with the light of of her divine origins. The glow of her true identity encircles her head and emanates brightly from her brow and chakras. Yet she is no more powerful than you, for you have come from the same luminous force. So few people are taught to believe this truth about themselves. They believe that they are not enough, not deserving, or not capable of making their dreams come true. But these conclusions project a dark project but these conclusions project a dark energy that brings unhappiness and blocks goals and desires from being manifested. This card asks you to embrace luminosity and remember your oneness with Source. And it is this oneness that forges your truth and helps you heal your old hurts and misinformed beliefs. Even if lies about your lack of power and value have been with you for a very long time, it is never too late to awaken to your truth and let yourself shine. This is a time of renewed energy for you, and the snow leopards are signaling that you have the power to overcome your inner demons. In fact, you are now capable of making giant, great leaps in reversing these toxic mental patterns. When you do, your brilliant new beliefs will manifest a wonderful new reality that will match the resonance of your luminous life force. Affirm, I choose to believe in my unlimited power, value, and deserving. My life force shines with the light of my divine force. So yeah, there's going to be a big release so you can get in touch with that unlimited source of who you truly are. So anything that has been stopping you from going out and creating that true stability and abundance in life, you can, maybe make giant leaps actually, when you remove these blocks. This is a major, time of going within and planting the roots and being so solid with the roots so you can just, get to the top a lot easier, especially with Jupiter in Cancer. So, and I love, for this new moon, especially, just getting in the right energy of how you want to feel. And some of us who don't have a lot of water in our chart, well, okay, this is what I've been doing at least. So when it comes to how I want to feel, I do the affirmations that make me feel powerful or make me feel how I want to feel. And I repeat it over and over and over in my head. So I feel it. And then that removes all the blocks. And it's like, oh yeah, you are, powerful and you are unlimited and you can achieve this. It's just really about getting aligned internally and getting your energy right and your frequency right, so you can radiate that out into the world. And yeah, okay, so and then we have the sun trining the north node right the day after. So this is kind of nice. This is again surrendering into this bigger Pisces dream and surrendering into oneness. That's why it's so important to kind of be in touch with your soul and your higher self right now, because the way to the ultimate, growth is through, oneness, through getting in touch with, just the bigger reality of what is. And you kind of realize when you start doing that and you let go of all the things, and it is just surrendering and letting go and just letting yourself be led by inspiration. It is so much easier. It is so much easier. So if you are feeling too stuck, especially with, Mars getting closer and closer to the south node, if you're feeling like things are too planned out, things are being too controlled, you're needing every little detail to go right, like surrender into the oneness and into the feminine energy and let yourself kind of go through that purification internally of choosing how you want to feel, and then remembering that life doesn't actually have to be so hard. We don't always have to push so hard. We can actually just lean more so into source and allow source to guide us a little bit more. So if the laws of the universe definitely help. So, it helps to learn those too, but if you want to be successful, ultimately, like abide by the laws of the universe. And, we're going to be releasing a lot of just programming in general. So we can be open, to who we truly are and leading from our hearts, and just allow the best to happen for us and for everybody else, for the highest good of all. And then Mars is crossing the South Node. So, yep, already kind of talked about this, but this is definitely us like seeing where we need to let go. When it comes to taking action, we need to release perfectionism. We need to release like over analyzing things, like over analysis, paralysis. Instead, you should be in your body, in your heart, and in your intuition. And, letting go, surrender. Like Pisces energy is like, we don't know where we're going, but the vibes are good. So let's go this way. And letting that be your compass, actually. And then Virgo can also be kind of like karmic work that we get stuck with. Sometimes this could happen through relationships and feeling the need to be too of service sometimes, and just, doing, putting like giving too much versus like focusing on the balance of giving and receiving. And then also just making sure that your energy is right versus feeling that you have to constantly charge and go, because that like your energy being right will make everything go a lot smoother. This could be letting go of the past in some way. This could be letting go of certain routines, certain work. Virgos, a lot of heavy Virgo tends to be workaholics and constantly going. So releasing that, and paying attention to your health and your diet and your routines that feel good and, are kind of more in flow with that bigger aspect of you. And then, oh yeah, I forgot Saturn's going retrograde on the 12th. So again, that's kind of like going back internally when it comes to structure, and, Neptune's here too. So like, hopefully we weren't deceived with like this new plan, this new structure, this new kind of like, because this is the new coming in. So we can really reflect on, different perspectives and, just the way that new is happening in this area of life, and see what's working, see what's not, and, get a lot of clarity with that. And then Mercury is going retrograde in the on the 17th. We're in Leo. So Leo's, we're going to have a bit of a busier month and everything. But, I feel like with Mercury retrograde in Leo, we're getting really illuminated with our mind and how we think, and how it can be more connected to our heart and our happiness, and the way that we can radiate out in the world. So this can be a way that we, become, way more powerful manifestors, and, really have a better mentality on a daily basis. So pay attention to how you're talking to yourself internally, and are you boosting yourself up? Do you think you're confident and radiant and you're shining out in the world? You want to reprogram yourself to really, think, from the heart, and from more of that, from more self-love, because that'll always, empower you. And Leo season starts on the 22nd. Yay. I'm going to be hermit mode until, Leo season, because I've already socialized too much it's like the past 2 months. So I'm going to be hermit mode until Leo season. But Leo season, yeah, it's like bold, it's fiery, it's courageous, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting because, the sun is going to sextile Uranus right in the beginning. And it's going to show us kind of this new dynamic energy of things moving fast. Uranus and Gemini, things are moving a lot faster. It's quick. It's, this will bring out a lot of new perspectives, a lot of new ways that we can elevate the way we think and feel, and have different perspectives that aren't so like weighed down and clogged up or whatever. So we can really free ourselves, radiate from and live from the heart more so, and break free in this whole new way. It's all about freedom and sovereignty. And embodying more of your uniqueness. So you can, radiate your unique essence more so out into the world. And then Venus in Gemini. Oh, wait. Venus in Gemini is squaring Mars. So this is interesting. And I do see this just as reprogramming, the masculine and the feminine energy. I do think that it's pretty interesting that it's happening the same time with this Mercury retrograde, but they're both in Mercury ruled signs. And, Mars just crossed the South Node. So we can really release a lot of like old mental programs that have been keeping us blocked off and keeping us in the ego. And it's a little bit of friction. Venus is, money, what we value, what we desire, and it's receiving energy. It's the feminine energy. And Mars is all about action and drive and, us going to get our manifestations. So there's definitely a back and forth with this energy. And at the same time, a lot of just new energy with Uranus in Gemini also. So it should be nice, little back and forth kind of square with the masculine and the feminine for more rebalancing. So we can, attract more of our desires and manifest in a better way. That is, more, and it's not too hard of a square because when, planets are in mutable signs, it's kind of like easy to go back and forth. It's very mutable. It's very malleable. So it's nothing too like, harsh or, jolted. It's just kind of like a back and forth kind of banter to, switch up perspectives and maybe see things in a new way. And then the sun is going to trine Saturn on the 24th. So that'll be interesting. With Neptune and Saturn going retrograde, we can see, what started and, how we can, be connected more so to ourselves and, feeling good and kind of radiating our true selves and how we can have that bigger dream of being really empowered in this new era and what structure we need to take on, what responsibilities, what we need to own about ourselves and maybe even our own bullshit of, what we need to let go of. Because I like this Leo new moon. I mean, it does look a little intense because it's opposite Pluto, but I kind of like that intensity because it's like, are you trying so hard to please other people? Are you paying attention too much to other people and the crowd and what everyone else is doing? Or are you really living from your heart? Are you living from your heart and that bigger inspiration from that higher aspect of yourself? And are you taking those dreams seriously? Because you need it. This is a whole new beginning with the heart and how you can maybe have some of that purification out of the ego. So you don't, you're not pleasing that. I mean, when you're pleasing yourself and living out your passion and your purpose, that is how you help others out. It's less about like following the crowd and kind of fitting in with everybody else and, putting on this label, saying you're this person, you've had this role up until now or whenever, you can really shift your identity whenever you want. Whenever your identity starts to get limited or disempowering, this would be a good, new moon to really reinvent yourself. And who do you want to be? How can you step into that higher aspect of yourself? And that goes, that does follow your heart and does follow your desires. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to life, you want to say that you truly followed your heart, not that you didn't do this because you were afraid of what they would say, or, you were trying to make somebody happy, but they would never be happy. So you ignored like yourself and your own needs. It's important to pay attention to your desires and your passions, because we did come here to create, and you tuning into your heart and what you want to create, and holding that dream that you can actually achieve it. You can be really, really powerful out in the world and have a lot more fun. And also at the end of the day, when you're moving from love and, whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing it with love, that is way more powerful than anything. You could be a therapist, you could be a doctor, you could be a teacher. The most impactful people always affect you through love and through your resonance and through you like finding that full embodiment of being here and being that highest version of yourself. So really definitely reflect on that too with this new moon in Leo. Okay, and then there's this Venus going into Cancer after, back and forth, playful, exciting Venus in Gemini. So when, we're very extroverted when Venus is in Gemini, and, it's all about socializing. It's all about connecting with new people. It's kind of like opening up your world and not taking anything too seriously, but chatting here, chatting there, different perspectives, opening up your mind, opening up, just your life a little bit. And then when Venus goes into Cancer, it's more so about the home, and it's about nurturing, and it's about going internal. And it's going to be really nice with Venus conjuncting Jupiter here. A lot of beneficial energy with wherever Cancer is in your chart. So you can really connect to the internal core of your being too at the same time, and have that healing and transformation within. And yeah, make home your comfort zone. You're going to want to pay more, you're going to want to spend more time with those really close connections that really do nurture you and that give you that love and that emotional satisfaction. We're going to be manifesting more with the way we want to feel and moving from there versus any other way. And then on the 31st, Mercury goes Cazimi too. So Mercury in the heart of the sun, Mercury's having a rebirth. It's having a purification with, Gemini, or with Mercury things, which is communication, it's sales, it's how we think, it's, how we process things. And we can have this alignment with our heart. Okay, so the cards, women holding a heart, we're definitely getting in tune with our heart. And when we do that, we unlock a lot. This is kind of like opening up, something that was always inside of us. So we can give that gift to the world. The oyster came out because this is an energy where if you like oyster energy just wants to stay clammed up and actually doesn't value what they have internally. So especially with everything going into Cancer, we can pay attention to the gifts that we all have internally and what we have to offer the world, and open up and share those gifts. And then you get in alignment with who you truly are and what you came here for, and what is really meant for you. And I love this card that came out from the, let's see, whatever deck, the Untethered Soul deck. Most of life will unfold in accordance with forces far outside our control, regardless of what your mind says about it. So this is all this month. Let go of what your mind is saying about anything, because if you have had certain events in life, you just got to realize how much we actually don't, have full control. But that's the best thing, is when you can allow and surrender into the best things for you, because life will always guide you towards the best things that are for you. Then you unblock yourself and you're getting more in tune with the universe and the knowledge within. Like, this is us where we're going to be really paying attention to our inner being and getting that guidance so we can pursue more of our passions and get that inner knowing of what we came here for. And, I've had so much of this already, just like, getting in tune with that inner knowing. And it's just like, it opens up so much more, so you get that full inspiration and that full knowing of what's happening, and where you can go moving into the future. So there might be some triggers too, but definitely there's a mirroring happening this month. So who or what is triggering you? Know that, like, whatever's triggering you, it's always, helping you out, actually, because everything kind of externally is something that we have internally. So if we're not seeing that, you know, the best things externally, then where did we kind of manifest that into our lives internally? That can really unblock us and allow us to step into that higher version of ourselves. Because, oh yeah, and I love how the Thinking Woman came out, because the Thinking Woman is all about, I mean, yes, the owl came out underneath it. So it's like the owl can be blocked off. This is where we're receiving the gold, where we're receiving, the gift and the wisdom. But we need to balance out the mind and the heart and the inner being, so we really tune into that wisdom, so we can go towards the gold. And at the same time, that inner wisdom is going to really help elevate us, especially with Uranus going into Gemini. We're elevating our perspectives in the way we think and, the way we communicate. So, we can be more powerful. And there will be, a lot of reflection on the back in the past, but with all of that, you pay attention to the pearl. All lessons in life and everything that we've been through, it was all for like something that we needed to know with where we're going. So find the gift, in the shadow and in the triggers and in the mirroring of whatever's going on. So you can find more of that strength and more of that courage to love. Because I think strong connections are definitely coming in for a lot of you, especially with Venus conjuncting Jupiter. And to allow love into our life, especially a powerful love, we do have to find that love within ourselves first, and then also just in our heart to love, everything, and allow your heart to shine so you can radiate love and not block yourself off to love, so you can get this like higher commitment that wants to come in. And then the Hierophant always kind of reminds me too of the the inner wisdom, the commitment to the inner wisdom that you have with yourself, so you can, manifest the best things in your life. So yeah, nothing is wasted. At the same time, Seven of Pentacles, it's like a slower moving month, Well, actually, maybe not with Uranus going into Gemini. But, we're planting seeds here, and we do have to realize like it is kind of going to be a slowdown back into the old era for a little bit, with Neptune and Saturn going back into Pisces soon. And it's going to be a slower winter. But with that, we're, there's been a lot of like wisdom that we've gained, and a lot of, just different ways of being that we can appreciate, and we can, allow, when we recognize more of that, we can allow, more of our higher frequency to resonate. When we recognize that, we know more of what we love and what we want to commit our time and energy to, and what we value, and what is valuable to us at that, that soulful level, so we can get that soulful nourishing. All right, guys, so I'm going to go through all the signs. You can look at your sun. That's for your career and for a broader soul perspective. Some people resonate with their sun sign more, especially if they're really tied to their careers, and if they're, older in life even, or younger. Kind of in the middle is when you resonate more with your rising sign, but your rising sign will always be the most accurate with predictions, with events that happen. Your rising sign is always the most accurate. And then your moon sign is how you're internally feeling. So you want to pay attention to that, so you can find that internal alignment of what you're needing or what you need to change, so you can attract more of what you want, and live in a way that is, better for you. All right. So I'm going to go through all the signs. Hi, Aries. Okay, so this is interesting month. Hi, Aries. Okay, so all this new activity in Gemini is kind of shaking up your daily life. Transits are always pretty significant at the beginning of them. So when it comes to third house things, the way you can use this to your advantage is robotically affirming, on a daily basis, making sure your mentality is, very uplifted and in alignment with your manifestations. But this could also be shaking up your community, the people that you hang out with on a daily basis and in your neighborhood. um, you know, yeah, you could kind of meet a lot of people, actually like doing kind of group projects or like in a community environment that can kind of come in really randomly and open up your world in a whole different way. But yeah, you're going to be a little bit more confident, a little bit more balanced, your mentality. You're just going to, kind of be feeling good. And yeah, it'll be just nice to see what this Uranus energy brings. So pay attention to those sudden like insights or inspirations that come your way. Maybe this leads to you to take a class or upgrade a skill so you can monetize it. This could be a different way you decide to do social media, or maybe upgrade your life and the busy work of your, work possibly. So yeah, I really do like that energy. And then we have the full moon in Capricorn. So you're releasing something. There's a spotlight on your career and your long-term goals and your legacy. And you're going to be releasing something when it comes to busy work, or sixth house things, which could be busy work. It could be health, diets, routines, exercise. What's not working for you anymore and what is working for you. And, Aries rules you. So maybe it's an aspect of you that you're releasing, some old role or identity, like feeling like you always need to step up and do everything for everybody at work could definitely be a thing. And you're recognizing you could just like step into more of that authority, and not take on all the work, and recognize the rest that you do need to receive with the North Node in your 12th house. This is more so about leaning into your higher self and your inspirations, and where your soul is really calling you towards those deeper passions versus always staying busy with work. And yeah, just balancing out, rest, work hard, rest too. Or, I was going to say work hard, play hard, but that's not that. But yeah, letting go of old karma where we might have been, a little too busy all the time, or taking on too much, can definitely be released. And then, yeah, Mars rules your eighth house too. So that is like, clearing out old debts too. This could be you paying something off, and feeling a lot freer. This could be you letting go of a contract that really doesn't serve you anymore. But yeah, so, and oh, forgot this is a little bit longer. Oh yeah. Okay, Mars crossing South Node, got that. You're the first one, so I'm always a little jolted or like kind of figuring out what am I doing right now, like with your sign. But anyway, okay. And then Saturn and Neptune are going retrograde in your first house. So there's been a whole new chapter that's been starting for you. And the first house is your role, your identity that you're taking on, your avatar out in the world. It is your body. So how do you see yourself now, and how can you take on more of that structure, and what boundaries do you need to set to be that higher aspirational version of yourself that goes after your goals and goes after the desires that you really want, so you can be more so in alignment with, with your heart and with your Dharma timeline, actually. I like this powerful new moon in the fifth house. So the fifth house is love, dating, romance, creativity. So this is a great time to maybe date somebody new. But this will be kind of an intensity with possibly like a creative project, and maybe you're kind of questioning a little bit more because what would your friends think? And ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to get into your heart and your passion and where your passions are calling you. Angel of Strength came out. So yeah, it's like getting into your passion is leading you in the right direction, because your higher self is, kind of has a loudspeaker this month. And instead of, leaning into anybody, like maybe this is a person that is leaning into loss or lack or fear or victimization. All of those like aren't your higher self. Your higher self is always speaking in love and inspiration, in abundance. There is no such thing as loss. And there's always a gift in fear. Fear is safe. And yeah, you can kind of release any of the ways that you might have been consciously or unconsciously holding yourself back from what your heart truly desires. Because the lion came out, so that's definitely following your heart's desires and knowing what you need to walk away from. Because there's a bigger horizon out there, and you're going to feel it, you're going to know it, you're going to be kind of getting that inner wisdom with your core and your being of who you truly are, to find that expansion, so really to spend a lot of time. I mean, this is a good month to spend a decent amount of time at home and getting into that, alignment, and really feeling good, really nurturing yourself, and really, having that healing and that heart opening, so you can release what has been keeping you weighed down, either emotionally or mentally or physically, so you can manifest a bigger dream, because you are a big manifester with Neptune in the first house. But you have to take your dreams and your inspirations that you're getting, take them seriously, so you can really start pursuing them. As long as you have that vision or that goal, you can try a little bit every single day, and you'll be so surprised by how far you go in a year. So you can have a really big boost with your self-confidence in your creative projects and love. So you can have a heart opening and follow your heart more. That's a big message for you, Aries. All right. Thank you so much, Aries. All right, Taurus, everything happening in your second house. This is your money. This is your resources. This is your value and your self-worth. And the more that you raise up your self-worth and your self-love, the more money that you can receive. This is the law of assumption. So you should have a ton of affirmations for assuming, what your worth is, and what your value is, and what you expect to receive, whether it's a job opportunity, a certain amount of money, how you want to be treated in a relationship even. This is, a big boosting up and a whole new energy coming in with that. So you can have definitely an elevated self-worth with Uranus going into the second house. And maybe you have a, completely different breakthrough. So you can align more of, with your original self, and how, all the aspects that you do love about yourself. So you can be very authentic with that, and, put that out there more so into the world. Because Uranus is going back into Taurus too for a little bit. So we can break out of the box even more. So it's going to be interesting. I'm so used to Uranus in Taurus. So, I think things will ground a little bit, be a little bit more stable. We won't be as eccentric, Tauruses, I guess. Since 2017, we've had Uranus there shaking up our lives. And I've liked it so far, so I'm going to miss that. But at least I have my Venus in, Gemini, which rules all this Taurus that I have too. So that's kind of nice. But enough about me. But okay, so this can also bring in shakeups when it comes to your finances. So if you're at a job that you're meant to be liberated from, sometimes Uranus can come wipe out, what you're not supposed to be doing anymore. So you go towards what you're doing, because Uranus is a powerful manifestation energy. It is the Fool, it is the Magician, and it is the Tower. So sometimes it'll come in and just knock something down. So you really build something a little bit more stable and a little bit more solid, or at least that you're open to options. So multiple streams of income could be really, really powerful. And be open to any of those ideas or different ways of making money that would actually really liberate you and make you really powerful out in the world, because it's going to be trining Pluto. So this, like, it's kind of like opportunities that can come your way that allow you to be more of your powerful, authentic self out in the world that creates, more abundance. But yeah, with Uranus, you don't, one could get taken down, one can, be really, if it's different streams of income, one could get taken down, one could like, still be okay. I think it's good to just spread it out at least. Because yeah, Uranus rules your 10th house too. So overall, it's a really important transit with guiding you to what you're really supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to be really fulfilling. But a trine is always like, here you go. It's not hard to find. It's not hard to go after. And I like the sextile to Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. It's kind of like you might have this inner knowing of what you're doing and where you're going in the bigger soulful purpose of it, because maybe it's lighting up some internal passion, or pay attention to your dreams. My dreams have been so wild with Neptune in the 12th house and Jupiter in the 12th house for my rising. But okay, and then there's going to be a full moon in Capricorn. So that's going to be in your 9th house, and that might have to do with releasing some limiting beliefs. We're constantly evolving through beliefs in life, and we don't realize that a belief that we have is limited until we become aware of it. And why do we believe that? That's limiting. And we can kind of release, maybe an old school way of doing things or an old structure or old perspective, so we can find more expansion, because a belief is actually just a thought that we think permanently, all the time. So becoming more aware of that, so you can have a better mentality in your everyday life, because with Jupiter here, you're really freeing yourself up and you are more optimistic, and you are, seeing a bigger view of what you can possibly manifest. And maybe you have a lot of creative, inspirational ideas, but it's opening you up so you can have more powerful beliefs. And with Mars going over the South Node, there can be just a big release of fears from the past with Mars ruling the 12th house. That's fears from the past. That's the subconscious. That's could be like old or ways that we were self-sabotaging ourselves that we didn't even realize we were self-sabotaging ourselves, and that we can, release that. And maybe it even has to do with a relationship, because Mars rules your relationship house. So if there's anybody in your life that might be a hidden enemy, hopefully not, but that, 12th house is sometimes hidden enemies that you can release and not need their approval or anything. So you can really trust in that higher source and that higher inspiration of you and the bigger you and what you're passionate about. So you can create what you want to create. The 5th house is all about creativity, love. You could be releasing restrictions in love, releasing blocks to creativity, because you're getting pushed in a bigger direction with, oneness, source, and creating for everybody, and listening to those bigger, higher inspirations. And I like Age of Aquarius too, because a lot of people are combining spirituality and combining tarot and astrology, and combining different systems and putting them all together, because that's what you need in the Age of Aquarius. You need multiple things to describe what's going on right now, because if you're just stuck in one system, you can be too boxed in. So this can be you discovering a new, spiritual path or some sort of knowledge that kind of opens up your world in a whole new way, that allows you to be less rigid with creative projects, and or maybe even the way that you raise your kids, if you have kids, so you can have more joy and inspiration with the way you raise your kids. And I don't know, this kind of reminds me of homeschooling or something, discovering that the school system is just made to create a bunch of factory workers. So you realize that you can homeschool your kids and save their creativity and not get them so programmed to go, just be, I don't know, not who they really came here to be. And, all of that. So, and then there's Saturn and Mercury retrograde. So Saturn retrograde in the 12th house. So this could be some sort of revealing when it comes to what you didn't see or previous illusions. With the 12th house, it could be hidden enemies. It could be passion projects behind the scenes. It could be, yeah, just like maybe even passion projects just behind the scenes or spirituality, because Saturn rules your 9th house, 10th house. Pisces rules your 11th house. So you can get more so in alignment. It's like releasing of a lot of karma with maybe who you thought you had to be out in the world, and facing those power dynamics. So you actually, are more in alignment with your higher self and who you want to be out in the world versus what the world says you have to be. And you can release a lot of blocks and boundaries of the ways you were self-sabotaging yourself or keeping yourself like blocked off or limited, if there were any ways that you did that. And then the new moon in Leo is happening in the 4th house. So this is a new beginning when it comes to home and family and your foundation and that inner fire, that inner core of your being, and you getting like lit up internally. So you can be really excited about, whatever, about your home and your comfort. And this could be healing time with family. And, it's all about finding that work life, home life balance, and not spending too much time at home and not spending too much time at work, and finding a nice, balance in between that. That could be brought up. Because, it's going to be trine Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. So there is a way that you can get aligned with what's really deeply important to you at the end of life. Like where is your soul calling you, because we don't really care about what our boss said, at the end of our life. We want to be more in alignment with our heart and who we internally are, versus, any of that. And then I think that's it. So the Chariot came out. There's a strong partnership coming in. And for those of you that are single with Mars crossing the South Node, actually, that can bring a relationship from the past that is like a past life connection. So be open to that. If you're single, it could be a good time to kind of get out there and see who's, really out there. And you could easily meet them out and about in the community in your everyday life. You have a lot of luck with that right now. But the Chariot came out. So the Chariot is finding partnerships that are very balanced, and you could be like really feminine or really masculine, and you attract somebody in that is like the opposite, so you balance each other out. So you can kind of, maybe one of you is more logical, one of you is more creative. So someone coming into your life that is really on your side, but recognize like who is and who isn't at the same time. Crocodile came out, and it came out reversed. So that could be, let me see what the crocodile is though. But there's definitely, a healing aspect to this. This is opening up the door to personal healing and happiness. So you can manifest more of what you want. Maybe this is just a way that you blocked yourself off from love, and weren't really truly letting someone in. So it was, stopping you from receiving, what's truly meant for you and what's truly yours. Let me read the crocodile. Crocodile, resting, submerging, collecting energy, cooling off. The crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and to turn inward. Now is not the time for decisions, actions, or discussions. The crocodile's mantra is wait. This doesn't mean lying around hoping life's challenges will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that. It means intentionally withdrawing, gathering awareness, observing, and building energy. Fill up the vital reserves so your next moves come from a place of wisdom and power. So when in balance, wise, patient, silent, powerhouse. When out of balance, feeling stuck, lashes out. So yeah, there might be a way, like if you're feeling stuck or if you're feeling just kind of like blocked off, there is a way that you can just surrender to find more of that magic. Yeah, I think this is definitely just releasing a ton of blocks. So that was keeping you from being more in tune with that higher self aspect of you. So you need to get that internal guidance. And to do that, you need to meditate, you need alone time, you need to kind of rest and retreat so you can really hear, your inner being. Harvest, gather of blessings. Yeah, because bunch of, you know, abundance wants to come in. And this could be a relationship, this could be money, this could be, something just really abundant, but it is an inspirational idea. Some sort of soulful wisdom is coming in. And I like the swans. That's cute. So maybe a soulmate connection that brings us wisdom. But that is bringing you're connecting with that wisdom that is, making you pay more attention to the joy and the art and the music and creativity in a way that's going to bring you a lot of abundance and a lot of stability with the 4-4 going on. And because, the magician came out. You're manifesting something. Know what you're manifesting, because you're an ultimate manifester when it comes to money and, just, in your everyday life. So pay attention to your manifestations and what you want to manifest into your life and receive those inspirational ideas. All right. Thank you so much, Taurus. Gemini, this is a big month for you. With Uranus moving into your first house, Uranus only moves signs every 12 or 14 years. So this is a big transit. And this is just a little test run of this energy. Uranus will go back into your 12th house for a little bit. But then, when it's in your first house, it's going to be there for a while. And I think 2032? No, longer. Okay. But I'll look into that later. I'm putting a Uranus video out too. So, but I love Uranus personally because Uranus is a master manifester planet, but you have to be open into the new. You have to be open to the inspirations. It is the Fool card. It is, so you got to take a leap when you see the opportunity to take a leap. It is the Star card. So you have to know your vision. You have to, constantly be in touch with your, not constantly, but get in touch with your inner imagination of manifesting your best life. So you're in tune and manifesting that into your reality. And it is the Tower. So sometimes Uranus can come in and jolt things around. So you go on the path that is going to be more expansive and more in alignment with you. But Uranus is going to be training Pluto. So you're meant to be kind of powerful out in the world and more so on your Dharma timeline. And this is just going to be shaking up, who you are out in the world. And there could be people coming in, opportunities that come your way, just new perspectives, new ways of seeing things that, open up your world in a very exciting, liberating way. So Uranus always calls for more authenticity. So it does set you free. It's rebellious. It doesn't really care, about following the crowd or following any social norms. So you might decide to completely change your appearance. You might decide to, go after a completely different job, a completely different new dream or new vision, because there's going to be this next nice sextile to Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house. And with this happening, you're kind of going to be reflecting when it comes to your friends and who you hang out with, who you network with. And maybe there was some illusions, but that's just so you can get into that realignment with what you want to imagine for your future next. And if there has been any friends just clogging you down, weighing you down, not going in the right direction, this is, maybe a time you set yourself free so you can be more of your original self and have that higher frequency of yourself and be more embodied so you can attract everything to you. Venus is going to be in your first house too, so that's going to be really nice. You're going to be, just radiant. You're going to be attractive. You're going to be able to manifest more of what you want when it comes to love and relationships and whatever you want to manifest more of. But yeah, you might have a lot of anxiety in the beginning. Five of Swords came out. So that is anxiety, but it's kind of breaking you out into the deer energy, which is feminine energy. So it's kind of like recognizing if you have anxiety, because Uranus brings a lot of energy too. Sometimes when you're meant to go in a certain direction, you just feel like magnetic or agitated, or like you just need to change something, and you just do something random and it leads you on a certain path that opens up your world in a whole new way. So that is very exciting. I love Uranus. I'm going to miss it as a Taurus. But let it break you open wherever you are holding yourself back, wherever you were limiting yourself. You weren't connecting to the divine feminine energy, source, creator energy that is trying to get in tune with you so you can manifest your highest timeline possible in a way easier way. And so you can have that ultimate expansion and be your authentic self completely out of the ego. And well, not completely out of the ego. We can never get completely out of the ego, but out of the ego. So we can surrender into life and let source guide us more and more and more, because that is how you're going to be lucky for the next long time. So listening to that jolt, that inspiration, that excitement, maybe being magnetized towards certain people or, certain beliefs or traveling, can really open up your world in a whole new way. As Goddess of the Moon came out, so your higher self is definitely guiding you in a certain way. And that just makes sense with the sun that's going to be trining the North Node in your 10th house. This can be an abundant way of making new money with Jupiter in your second house. Now you can have a big fat money boost and jump into the career and jobs and that are really meant for you and that are really fulfilling towards your soul. So it could be, maybe you want to go towards art. Maybe you want to express more of your passions. Maybe you've wanted whatever you're really truly wanting. This is like a big, just abundant energy to kind of maybe go in that direction or consider it. And with this Mercury retrograde in Leo, this is happening in the third house. So this can really change up the way you think every day, who you hang around with. This could be you decluttering your everyday life. Whatever you do on an everyday basis, this is like you changing things up so you can be more so in alignment with your heart and have that mind-heart balance out in the world and connect with the community that is really meaningful to you and manifest more of what you want from the heart. And then the new moon in Leo also is bringing a really solid, beautiful new beginning in your third house, which could have to do with, maybe you're starting a creative project. Maybe you're, boosting up some sort of talent or skill. Maybe you're getting along with siblings. Be careful with the, debates, though, because the sun's going to be opposite Pluto. So there could be like some tension to really talk about debates, but ultimately, if you can find that oneness, in everybody and what they believe in, and there is room for everybody to believe in whatever the F they want to believe in, we're not all going to believe in the same things. As long as you're leading from the open heart and sharing knowledge and information, you can find, really a lot of power with your voice. So yeah, speak from the heart, find ways that you can kind of open up your heart more and so you can manifest more of what you do want. Because the Magician came out, I think you're going to be realizing what a powerful manifester you truly are. And especially a powerful manifester from your higher self. When you are the easiest, okay, sometimes people don't manifest what they want because they're not manifesting from that soulful aspects. They're manifesting from their ego and from what's not actually going to be good for them. So you got to really get in touch with your higher self and the higher inspiration and where your soul's calling you. So you can, find that magic, and you actually already have everything that you need to make magic happen out in the world. Magic wants to happen, especially with money and career and who you are out in the world. But you got to believe in the magic, and you got to release all the blocks that have been holding you back, and you got to let go of what's not meant for you anymore. Don't let any heavy emotions kind of hold you back. Mars crossing the South Node in your fourth house, there can be some responsibilities or too much work that you've taken on when it comes to home and family. So you find that bigger inspiration, and you believe in your dreams, and you write your own story of what you want to do out in the world. And you're following that bigger vision of what you can possibly achieve. And yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. Hi, Cancer. Okay, so this is obviously a beautiful month for you because it is Cancer season. The sun's in your sign, Jupiter's in your sign. So it's all about getting in touch with that higher version of yourself and embodying it in this avatar and having that hope and faith and belief and trust that you can achieve all your dreams and, just attract whatever more of what you want into your life. Because the first house is really powerful because that's all about embodiment. And you want to have a powerful I am statements. And you want to say like whatever you want to be and whatever you want to embody, like I am powerful, I am charismatic. Everything is always easy for me. I always get my manifestations. Like I am, affirmations or affirmations from the state are going to be really, really, really powerful for you. So definitely, run with that this whole month and get in tune with what you truly want. And Venus going into your 12th house with Uranus. So Venus in your 12th house, you're definitely going to probably want to be more hermit mode. You might be wanting to work on passion projects. You could be going away on a spiritual retreat with some friends. This is kind of rest and rejuvenate and get in tune with what's deeply important to you and your soul. And, maybe going a little bit hermit mode, spending time with your, self and your inner world. So, more of what you want to manifest. And Uranus going into the 12th house. I don't know. I think this is just like, this is going to shake up a lot of limitations or a lot of the ways that you maybe limited yourself. Because the 12th house can be ways we unconsciously limit ourselves because we're not like seeing things clearly. This can bring some more awareness of what has holding you back and what has been holding you back, maybe energetically or karmically, so you can be free. So you can live more so in that higher alignment with your soul and who you truly are and your higher self. And this can bring you a lot of like inspirational ideas or something, so you can, put them out into the world. Actually, with Uranus in the 12th house, that does seem kind of like, receiving, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So you're getting in touch with those higher messages. So I think it's really powerful to pay attention to your dreams, and maybe it's a little bit rattling to your sleep in the beginning because you're getting used to this energy. But at the same time, it's probably, lifting up a bunch of fears and a bunch of things from the past. So it doesn't hold you back anymore. This kind of looks like a fast transformation with the trine to Pluto even, where it's releasing you from whatever was weighing you down and whatever was stopping you from like manifesting that higher life that you truly want to manifest. With the full moon in Capricorn, that's happening in your house of relationships. So a spotlight on relationships, and this is relationships of all kinds. This is clients, this is friendships, this is romantic, business partners, friends, family, whoever you're dealing with one-on-one whoever you're dealing with one-on-one. There's a spotlight here, and there might be a need to release something. Making sure you're not too of service to people, making sure you're aligning with relationships that are really strong and sturdy and going in the same direction that you are. And yeah, because Mars crossing the South Node, you might be releasing something when it comes to career in your long-term goals. Because with Neptune and Saturn going retrograde, it's kind of like maybe there was an illusion or like a fantasy that you had of a direction or a career or a path that you wanted to go in. And now you might be seeing something a little bit more clearly. So you're letting that go, or it was even possibly a block that was holding you back. So you are free to go achieve that highest dream possible. Because Neptune in your 10th house wants you to dream big and wants you to, go towards those bigger, like, just glory out in the world. Like Neptune in the 10th, it's like you can be glorious out in the world. And what do you need to release about the way you think in your everyday life? How do you speak to yourself? What are you listening to on a daily basis that hasn't been serving you, but what has been serving you? Because Mars also rules your 5th house, so you could be really getting in tune with some sort of creativity or your self-expression or your confidence, and maybe you're figuring out how you can have that more so on your mind, so you can manifest more of what you want. And being less rigid in your everyday life is you got to just have those bigger, beautiful beliefs and that vivid imagination. Your imagination is a tool and like you can lose it. You got to exercise your imagination because that is you getting guidance from your higher self so you can manifest in the best way, and so you can manifest in the easy way too, because when you get in tune with that internally, you find the steps kind of come to you, like things get pulled into your orbit to make your manifestations happen in the easiest way possible. So get in tune with your vision of what you want to manifest and let go of any of the ways you are keeping yourself too small in your everyday life, too limited, too analytical. And so you can put your creations out into the world and be who you want to be. Because, Neptune in Aries is asking you to be an original out in the world and align with the star, which is those higher aspirations. The star card is like, that big, beautiful vision. And I would definitely visualize like very, very often with Neptune in your 9th house. Because we were kind of taught in an inverted way, that we have to take action to get what we want. But actually, we should be getting in alignment with our inner self first and our inner vision so we can manifest what we want in the easiest way possible. So inverted, where you can get in tune with yourself on a daily basis in your higher, imagination and what you're visualizing. Because if you can see it in your mind, you can have it, and that is actually the lowest bar of what you can possibly have. And it'll release you. It'll release you from a lot of anxiety that you had of thinking it had to be really hard or a lot of work. And you can realize that you can have the dream in a lot easier of a way, but you have to believe in yourself first and do that, get in tune with your inner self, because there's innovation coming. There's a whole new way of doing things that's going to be very liberating to you. And I like this this new moon in the 2nd house. So there's a new beginning with money and your self-worth. And the more that you have a boosted up self-worth, the more money you receive. So boost up your self-worth, have a lot of self-love, do a lot of powerful law of assumption affirmations, because you got to assume that you're worth what you want to have. And then you'll get it, a lot easier with the 2nd house. So it's like, you just, you assume, and it kind of, as long as you're monitoring that in your head, you're going to assume that you're worth that relationship, you're worth that job, you're worth that amount of money. And, you just assume it until you believe it and you can attract it into your life. And that can make you really powerful. Yep. So King of Swords came out. It's like releasing maybe old masculine energy of being too logical, saying things need to be done a certain way. So you can be more in tune with the bat, which is being in tune with the dark and that inner knowing and the unseen of how everything is connected together and that everything weaves together in a beautiful, magical way. But we have to tune into that with ourselves in our own inner knowing so we can manifest in the best way possible. Okay, so yeah, I talked about that. Mercury retrograde, you're going to be going over your finances. And with the new moon in Leo, it's a new beginning. You can plant the seeds for that abundance, for that money. Maybe you want to monetize a creative project or something like that. Maybe you want to start a business. This is, a really good time to kind of really think about all of that. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're kind of going through, you're powering up your solar plexus, which is your third chakra. And when that's more empowered, you go after your desires. And okay, wait. Sorry, I'm coughing. Their chakra getting pumped up. And that's important because the solar plexus is going through a mutation. And that chakra is all about, I want this, and really knowing what you do want, what you don't want, and what your desires are. And when you do that, you are really powerful out in the world and you enable yourself to manifest your star in the best way possible. And you're going to do it in a very innovative, very exciting way, where you think you're even, making just magic happen in your everyday life, in a very effortless way. So yeah, maybe do powerful I am affirmations also. And yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. Oh, hey, Leo, what's up? Okay, so let's go over what's going on for you. So we have Venus and Uranus entering the 11th house. This is really connecting you with new people, new groups, new networks. So it's going to be really good. And, starting off this Uranus in the 11th house off with a bang, because the beginning of the transits are always, very powerful, and we can plant seeds, with what we want to grow in this area of life. So if we want, stronger friendships, if we want unique friendships, if we want friendships that break us out of the box in some way, it's really finding like-minded people that help you manifest your bigger dreams and goals and open up the world for you. So you can, have abundance in a really easy way. It's kind of, this is the area of life where it's more about co-collaborations and effortless abundance. So you don't do it so much on your own. So you're just opening up to, the bigger world stage. And you might be traveling, just meeting a lot of different people with traveling, or, just breaking out of the box. Like if you feel like things have been a little bit too stale, and a lot of Leo risings, like they're just kind of like bored of their group that they've kind of, been with. So they're naturally kind of going through a shift where it's time to connect with new people. It's kind of just feeling that urgency to kind of broaden your world in some way. Because with the 11th house, it's kind of like doing something completely different. I call it the midlife crisis house, because sometimes it's like you do something so random and so different, like go buy a car, go move to a different country, go, like, you don't know what it's going to be and what you're going to be like inspired by, but you just do it. And it's very exciting. So if you're feeling that, follow it, because Uranus is always like magnetic, and it's kind of electrifies you, and you kind of feel like just that rebellious energy and that need to kind of break out of the box in some way. So if you're feeling that, do it, because it'll lead to more abundance and better, really good relationships. And the 11th house is your hopes and dreams and visions for the future. So definitely spend time like connecting with your dreams and your vision of what you want to manifest out into the world. So the universe can help, magnetize people in for you, because Uranus can be magnetic. It is the higher octave of Mercury, and you could be receiving a lot of like ideas. Mercury is like the messenger of the gods. So this is like a higher messenger that can kind of like, give you certain information or inspirations so you can create your hopes and dreams in an easier way. And maybe with certain people, because Uranus also does rule the seventh house in modern times. So the full moon in Capricorn, the full moon is in your sixth house. So this is letting go of sixth house things, which could be work, diet, routine, exercise. Maybe there's a lot of heavy work that you want to let go of. Maybe there's a way that you can take care of yourself and your body in a better way, and that's really being highlighted. So you can, not push so hard, not feel like you always need to grind, and that there is this easier flow of achieving success and abundance. But you got to get internally aligned first. That's the 12th house. You have to, it's so important. Like, as long as you get yourself to that higher vibration and the peace and the love, then your day will go smoothly. If you're starting out the day angry and frustrated, you will attract more of that stuff to you, and you're going to start, have a shitty day. So I like, kind of releasing anything that's not serving you when it comes to the work and the grind and the responsibilities. And sometimes this is like karma that we take on from, people giving us too much work or, just putting stuff on our plate. So we learn how to stand up for ourselves, and we say, okay, is this worth it? Is this really paying off? Because the Mars crossing the South Node, we're releasing something when it comes to making money. And, when it comes to making money, is that in alignment with our bigger vision of what we believe we can achieve? Because we are Delulu and feeling that fire now with Neptune and Saturn in the ninth house. We can totally like believe that, we can go conquer the world now. And what do we need to release? Maybe we just have a lack mindset when it comes to money, which isn't true. As long as we're connecting to the abundance of the universe in our inner self, in our higher self, we can always find that abundance and that easiest path to make abundance for us. And it could have to do with releasing family stories, because Mars rules the fourth house too. Stories from family. Scorpion came out. So family stories, or, maybe getting too stuck in family drama, or just whatever needs to be released about the past and foundation, where you can actually possibly dream bigger and dream a bigger dream. With Neptune and Saturn going retrograde in the ninth house, you're reviewing your beliefs. What is a belief that you have? And a belief is literally just a permanent thought that you have, and that, that you, just what you believe about the world and how your reality works. So you can go back and see maybe you were a little too Lulu, which I don't think is a thing. I think you should always be extremely Delulu, and because that's how your manifestations work. So you can just see, this is more so just releasing any beliefs that haven't been serving you, that have been keeping you blocked off from manifesting your highest reality and your highest dreams. So you can be in alignment with your purpose in life and what you came here to do, and how you can really feel empowered out in the world. And then, Saturn. Oh yeah, Mercury going retrograde in your first house. It's going to be a little bit busy in your life. It's going to be a lot of like back and forth, doing things, achieving things, talking a lot. Mercury rules your 11th house, so you could be socializing a lot, dealing with a lot of people. And then it could have to do with money things. You're, going over maybe how you make money and how you can, go towards this bigger money with the 8th house things, which is 8th house is passive income. 8th house is investments. 8th house is, it's like ads on YouTube. It's investments. It's the bulky money. It's inheritances. it's rebates, it's loans, stuff like that. How can you kind of get that bigger money so you can find more stability and release the slow, steady grind? Second house is more so hourly. How can you release the slow, steady grind? If you just believe that you're worth so much more and that you can attract that bulky money, but you have to believe it first, and that you have to believe that you're really worthy of it. Because this can also make you release a lot when it comes to your self-worth. And the more you believe in yourself and what you're worth and have that self-love, the more you'll receive. So with Mars crossing the South Node, the second house always reminds me of the Law of Assumption house. So I love Law of Assumption affirmations. So if there's any sort of lack or limitation when it comes to your beliefs, assume that you are worth that job, you are worth that relationship, you are worth whatever you want to manifest in your life, and you will be able to attract it in a lot easier. So yeah, you're definitely, I'm going to read the, we're getting in tune with the river of blessings. This is so perfect for the North Node in the 8th house. Oh, wait. New moon in Leo too. So yeah, there's also going to be, and I didn't finish. I'm a little all over the place. Sorry, guys. Okay. So Mercury retrograde, it's like, yeah, there's a lot going on, but you might have to go back and redo these things, but then you'll know more of who you are out in the world and what roles you want to take on and how you want to make money and who you want to connect with. So you can move forward in a stronger way that's more in alignment with your heart. And we're getting in tune with the river of blessings. I love this for North Node and Pisces in the 8th house, because it is when you get more so in tune with your soul and the bigger abundance of this universe, and let your soul and source guide you towards that abundance. Then you can be open to all the abundance that is meant for you. You're releasing a lot of constraints of whatever was holding you back from receiving a lot of abundance that is yours, and it could be yours in a very easy, effortless way. But it just has to do with beliefs. See the garden in the gate? She's locked in actually this garden, and it's beautiful in the garden, but it's beautiful out there, and there's so much abundance, and abundance isn't limited. So it's all about releasing the limiting beliefs that was blocking you off from, the bigger abundance that can flow into your life by following your passions and following your heart. The door to romance came out. So maybe for some of you, romance is coming in, and this new moon in Leo, it's like a back and forth with your serious relationships. And this could be a romantic relationship, but Pluto does call for more vulnerability, more authenticity, not falling into the, power dynamics of the ego or anything, making sure that you are really staying true to yourself and your heart, and saying like what you want out of life or what kind of relationship you want to have, and being vulnerable so you can free your heart, actually, because the heart was in a cage. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Tough, that's always tough for the fire signs usually. And I want to read the Scorpion and the Scorpion and the river of blessings. So let me see. So the Scorpion. I actually don't get the Scorpion often. So, and that does remind me of 4th house things. Maybe that has to do with that. Scorpion. Passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. The Scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them. As they are a few select friends, sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers, and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. So yeah, you're getting ignited in a way. And if you find yourself going towards past resentments, like recognize that is the fire for you to get angry. So you start going towards your passions and what you do want to manifest instead. And so you don't, yeah, so you're not like isolated and you're not like, trying to, get stuck in healer mode for healing yourself mode forever. So when in balance, wild and free and fierce, you want to be fierce. When out of balance, jealous, resentful, unresolved. So if you're feeling resentful, that is usually anger that's like buried. So just let yourself kind of get angry because there's something that wants to manifest in a really fast way. And it's like you're recognizing what battles aren't actually worth it. So many tarot cards came out for you. So you can expand, and expand into the new. And this could be new passions, new love, new relationships, new excitement, but it looks like in new abundance. And it looks like you'll be going really, really fast. Let me read the River of Blessings also. River of Blessings. So the priestess of purification holds out a bowl of blessed water overflowing in your direction. The all-seeing jaguar brings his power of creation into your life, heralding a significant positive change in your circumstance. You may have been experiencing a time of challenges such as financial constraints, perhaps living paycheck to paycheck, or going deep into debt. Your restrictions, however, may be of a more emotional nature. That's what they are. That's what we're releasing. So perhaps you've been lonely, missing romantic, familial, or friendly love. Even a lack of joy from the ongoing tediousness of life could be a great limitation for you. Yep, because you manifest your greatest abundance when you're connected to love, peace, and expansion, and inspiration and creativity. When you're keeping yourself too limited and too serious, you're not going to receive that abundance. But whether these restrictions have been long-lasting or recent, this card reveals a powerful force flowing into your life, breaking through even severe limitations of the past. Your difficulties may have been hard to bear, but this has been a time of profound purification for you. The priestess is blessing your rebirth after suffering, giving you the jaguar's ability to view your experience with sharp-eyed clarity. A release of attachment that brings the promise of achievement. Whatever limitation you have endured, a beneficial solution is coming your way. So rest assured that old issues will be resolved and you can go through your day blessed yourself with clear intention. See any restrictions as merely a part of your passage from the purification to personal progress. Just as your jaguar has the unique visual acuity of your own inner visions, are coming into sharp focus, ready to become an even greater reality. In fact, this river of blessings will carry you far beyond anything you have yet imagined. Affirm, I release attachment and restriction. I am blessed and purified and ready to receive the ever-expanding value flowing into my life. So yeah, this is awesome. And that's the main thing. You can't be stuck in resentments or those lower dense energies because you are blocking yourself off from the best relationships, from the best manifestations. So this is really a big reflection on yourself and who you are out in the world and how can you be that higher version of yourself that is light and shiny and focused on your passions and focused on your happiness. And it's time to let go of any resentments or judgments or any of that have been keeping you trapped, because Uranus in the 11th house too will break you out into the bigger stage of the world so you can receive bigger career gains and bigger opportunities, and you can achieve your hopes and your dreams and your wishes in a lot easier of a way. So make sure we're getting out of the denser emotional times, and it's time to really let the inspiration flow again and let your happiness flow again, and follow your heart and follow your happiness and let the abundance come into your life. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. As with the sun and Jupiter in Cancer too, you are having a lot of luck and receiving a lot of inspiration from your higher self and for your soulful self. And, it's unblocking you're connecting to oneness in a really big way right now. And when you allow that to happen, when you allow yourself to soften and open up and just trust in whatever the universe brings you, then you open yourself up to all the opportunities and all the abundance and all the things that are really meant for you. But it's definitely getting out of the ego and surrendering and trusting. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. Hi, Virgo. Okay, so Mars is going to be in your first house. So you're motivated, you're driven, you might be a little agitated because when Mars is in your first house, like you don't always, you are driven and you are focused and you want to go after your goals and, what you really want, but you like might want to go there fast. And there's something that you might need that you are going to be releasing with Mars going over the South Node when it comes to perfectionism, when it comes to needing the plan to go a certain way, when it comes to being too analytical, too boxed in, too in your ego, there can be new perspectives that come in. And, this would be a really powerful month to maybe get guidance from an astrologer or like a psychic or, therapist, whatever you're really drawn to. That can give you, or spiritual friends, this can give you a whole new perspective of, the way you see the world and how you can take action in a better way. And it could improve your mentality. With Mars ruling your third house, there could be something with your mentality or the way you work in your everyday life that could actually be limiting you, where you can find more flow and abundance with, just the flow, tuning into the flow more so. And the eighth house, that's a big purge of maybe who you've been out in the world so far and releasing any shame or guilt or feeling like you need to be a certain way to be loved by people, or, maybe you're releasing caring about projections from other people and, just deciding to be you and more of your authentic self so you can really know, have that deeper self-love, because the eighth house is loving all aspects of yourself and knowing what we've been through, but what can we recover from ourselves that is, that deeper aspect of ourselves that we can still appreciate and not like shove down or suppress to make the world happy. And with Uranus and Venus going into the 10th house, you're glowing out in the world. You're receiving a lot with Venus in the 10th house. This would be a good time to ask for a raise, ask for a promotion, go after those goals. You can start, it would be a really, really powerful time to start some sort of business or put some sort of project out into the world, whatever you want to be known for. This is your legacy house. This is the long-term goals that you plant seeds, but you work towards, over a long period of time. I mean, maybe not a very long period of time, because Uranus in the 10th house, it's really shaking up your world, and it can bring in a lot of random connections or opportunities or just excitement, something that you're really interested in that's new, that frees you up in a certain way. Because Uranus is freedom. It's leading to more freedom, more authenticity with who you are out in the world and when it comes to career. So maybe this sets you free from a job that you don't want anymore. So you can do what you really want to do. And with Pluto in the 6th house, it's very important for you to be doing kind of what you love and not being afraid to go through a transformation, because you can get too locked into doing things a certain way. But, it's the age of Aquarius. Like, it's good to invite a little bit of this, a little bit of that, be, very entrepreneurial. The best entrepreneurs in general are always know a lot. They always know a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and whatever they're interested in, and they put it all together, and then that's their specialty. So you're tending to the mouse came out, and the mouse kind of gets stuck when they're tending too much to the small things and too focused in. And actually, Spirit is calling you. You're receiving signs, you're receiving a lot of synchronicities to go in this bigger direction and to just flow. But with Saturn and Neptune in the eighth house, there could be tough conversations or an illusion popped when it comes to money and shared finances. This is shared finances with a spouse, or this is contracts, this is loans. This is, just some insight with how you can restructure the bigger money in investments and property and whatever that is. Maybe inheritances, how you can be more clear about what's going on here. But I love Jupiter and the Sun in your 11th house. This is, time to get out into the world with all this new coming in. Uranus shaking up like who you are out in the world, and you're meant to connect with really significant relationships that come into your life. Soulmate relationships can be friendship oriented, or they can be strong romantic relationships. But they're bringing you a lot of wisdom, a lot of like opportunity, a lot of growth. Like if you're single though, this is going to be a really exciting summer. So make sure you're out, all of July, just go out, have fun, meet new people, go to all the events, go to every exciting concert or whatever you're feeling really drawn towards, because you can really open up your world in a very exciting way that leads to more abundance and the right connections and like-minded people, and connecting with who you really want to connect with out in the world. And this retrograde in Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, you can be releasing a lot of ways that you used to self-sabotage, just becoming more aware, because the 12th house is where we don't see things. So it could be something that was hidden about a conversation or, a relationship or projects, career things that are, these are like projects that are behind the scenes, that you can get more organized and get more into alignment with what you're doing in that bigger direction of where you're going. And then there's going to be a full moon in Capricorn. So highlighting your fifth house, you can meet somebody very significant that, is, that you start dating, that could get very serious actually with all this like positive energy going on with Jupiter that will be trining the North Node next month. So yeah, if you're single, again, go out there. And if you're in a relationship, you can definitely find more love. You can have a heart opening and release a lot, especially with Mars. It'll be trining Mars in the South Node. Mars about to cross the South Node. So maybe you thought you had to be a certain way to be loved, but if you actually, the best way to find the best relationships is just being more of your authentic self, and they'll love all aspects of you. So releasing any blocks where you felt just too rigid, too much of a need to like control things, to like not feeling like you can let your freak flag fly. Because with the North Node in Pisces, like, they might be freaks a little bit too, or so like really themselves from that soulful place. So, you can kind of go through this heart opening by meeting, very significant relationships that help you open up and recognize more parts of yourself that you can love fully. So yeah, it's a good month to, and the new moon in Leo, it's like after the clear out of this Mercury retrograde, you can really plant new seeds. This would be a good time to really work on a passion project that really is fulfilling, to go on, a spiritual path that is really fulfilling, to rest and retreat and just reconnect to yourself. And so, like those deeper soulful needs of what's going to really fulfill you. Heart chakra is opening up. So you're definitely elevating your heart and, opening up your heart, releasing wherever you were stuck in the ego or too constrained. So, and that's going to open you up to new collaborations. And this could be work collaborations with the Three of Pentacles, and just a lot of inspiration. Also could be love too, though, because the Two of Fire is love and passion and excitement. But it's opening you up to just playfulness, excitement, new ways of being out in the world. Maybe you just need to lighten up and recognize that you don't need to be serious to be successful. Like find your whimsy. Sorry, find your whimsy and radiate your whimsy out in the world, and then you'll be more successful. And getting in touch with grateful optimism can really open up your heart and attract in all the right relationships and career opportunities and close relationships that you can work with to you. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. Wow, Libra, this looks like a vibe shift for you. So we have Venus and Uranus going into the 9th house. So that's like really opening up your world in a certain way because it's going to be, trining your ascendant. So when Venus is in the 9th house, you're getting in touch with your meaning and your faith and your purpose in life. And you kind of see a bigger vision of the worldview. You kind of believe in your ability to manifest more of what you want. And, it can just be opening you up to new adventures, different kinds of relationship, just breaking you out in a really random, exciting way. Because Uranus is going to be in your 9th house now. So this is all about adventures. This is all about being on your Dharma timeline. This is all about being excited, out in the world and really definitely believing in your biggest visions of what you want to manifest. And when you do that, you can attract certain people into your life, certain relationships, especially since it's going to be trining Pluto in your 5th house. So really get in tune with that vision of what you want to manifest into your reality and believe it. So make sure your beliefs are really powerful, and you'll probably go through a lot of breakthroughs of anything that was holding you back, any limiting beliefs. So you can really be electrified, out in the world and have this higher perspective of what reality is. Because we're figuring out what reality is, and it's way bigger and way weirder than any of us ever anticipated. So this would be a good time to follow any topic of interest, any knowledge pursuit, any pursuit of knowledge, anything that opens up your world. Traveling is always really important because you definitely see how different people live. And sometimes you meet, people in such a random way. It's just like fated. And yeah, it's just like, it gets you to where you're supposed to be. Because whenever you're doing 9th house things, you're aligning with your meaning and purpose. So this could be a very exciting connection that comes into your life. This could be an exciting opportunity, a random trip. Maybe you're deciding to move for a relationship or deciding to live abroad. Follow whatever is magnetizing you, whatever is really pulling you in a certain direction, because it's leading you towards a lot of transformation. The butterfly, they literally turn into a goo bag in the cocoon before they're free and before they let themselves really fly out in the world. And you're learning how to fly out in the world and releasing any, thing that was really keeping you restricted. Because you are lucky out in the world with the sun and Jupiter in your 10th house. You are receiving reward and recognition, and you could receive that ideal job or that opportunity or that raise or that promotion, but you have to believe that you can do it. You have to really be true to your vision in your heart and where your heart is truly calling you. What is your soul calling you towards, and what is deeply meaningful to you? So you go in that direction, and you can receive a lot of reward and abundance when you go in that direction. There's going to be a full moon in Capricorn. So there's like a release of home, family, foundation, responsibilities. Maybe there was something that, this is a good time to just declutter the house, throw shit out, like make things look really nice. Cause you want to radiate on the world, and, whatever's like whatever's like externally is a, representation of what's happening internally. So who are you now out in the world, and how can your home kind of reflect that? With Mars, it'll be trining Mars in the 12th house. So there can be just certain ways, even programs from like childhood that you need to release, so you can, be more in touch with your spirit and your higher self and your soul and where you're really being called. And, this could have to do with a relationship. Maybe a relationship has been too heavy on you, maybe a little too judgmental, maybe a little too nitpicky. And it's been limiting you from the bigger dreams and the bigger aspirations of what you want to achieve out in the world. So, Neptune, because Neptune wants to bring you love and wants to bring you the highest love and romance and, that transcendent, unconditional type of love. But you have to realize what karmic lessons you're done with when it comes to relationships. So you can elevate out of those karmic, um, you know, patterns in relationships, which is, like relationships are amazing because you can't really spiritually evolve, I feel like, without really strong connections. Relationships are literally, I think, how you evolve the most in life. Um, so learning those lessons and becoming aware, and doesn't mean you have to break up with them, but you have to change the pattern. Whatever pattern that you've been stuck in that has been negative when it comes to your relationships, you can elevate out of, because you can, like with the Neptune and Saturn going retrograde, it's like, okay, maybe there's a reality check here, but how can we get in alignment with the new dream and, what we really do want in relationships, so we can have that growth and the abundance and what we truly do want out of love and out of life and out of security. But yeah, foundation is definitely a big focus for you. So you're really setting yourself up with who you are out in the world and having a vision of that and getting in tune with your heart and realizing that this can actually be easy. When you get in tune more so with your heart, you can make your bigger dreams and your bigger manifestations happen in an easier way. But it is the manifestation. And we were taught in an inverted way, like that we have to constantly push and work to be successful out in the world. But actually, if we get in tune with our inner vision, if we imagine like 10 minutes a day in the morning, then it organizes the next best steps and the next best opportunities and kind of magnetizes people into your orbit, so you can make your dreams happen in an easy, effortless, fun way. So recognize who you want to be out in the world and what is that, like that biggest aspiration, because the 10 at Earth is legacy. So you're getting really in tune with your legacy out in the world and how you can manifest this abundance in a very healed way. There's going to be a healing aspect in a heart opening with Healer of the Ages that is coming out. And then this Mercury retrograde is happening in your 11th house. So this could have to do with friendships and networks and who are you really connecting with and who's like-minded and who maybe isn't anymore, who maybe you might need to shift up your friendship group so you can connect with more like-minded people that are motivating and inspiring and connected to their hearts and lifting you up and just like radiating that highest frequency possible. You can only go so high up in frequency here anyway, but at least radiating and lifting you up and pushing you towards your bigger hopes and dreams out into the world, because this is about the 11th house is all about co-collaborations and meeting with the right people so you can collaborate in a very effortless, expanded, happy, fun way. And then the new moon in Leo, there can be a new beginning with friends and hopes and dreams and aspirations. So you could be planting seeds to really achieve some of those dreams, or this would be a really great time to have a vision board and really just know what you really want to manifest in more of in your life and open up your heart. Woman with a Heart came out. I want to read this actually, because you're opening up your heart to what is going to be really meaningful to you and where your soul is calling you, where you're being like guided towards. Because Mars rules your second house too. So this does have to do with like money and resources, releasing any self-sabotaging ways that you needed to be too organized or too constrained or too just limiting yourself when you could actually just be in that higher divine flow with your higher self and receive more. It's all about receiving, letting yourself receive from the heart. So unblocking your heart in a really big way so you can receive the inspiration. So what I like to do is to make, it's going to be really powerful with Jupiter in your 10th house, is to really, how do you want to feel? And it's good to mantra something in your mind so you feel that certain way. And then you're kind of at that right vibration to attract all the right things to you. And you're going to be really powerful with that for the next year. So if you want to be more powerful, I am powerful. If you want to be more loving, I am loving. If you want to have the best relationships, I only have the best relationships. Affirm it over and over and over and over until you really believe it. And that's how you set yourself free with your beliefs also. Let me read Woman with the Heart, though. But grateful optimism. The more that you can connect to that, joyous view of the future, the more that you can connect to the 10 of Pentacles, which is money, it is family, it is legacy, it is that solid abundance that is really meant for you. So Woman with a Heart. Okay. Woman holding a heart. Female dealing with family, love, or emotions. The woman on this card wears a butterfly in her hair and holds a lovely large heart in her hands. For a woman, this card upright could be a reflection of your own state of peaceful emotion and receptivity for love, or it might be a message that your family issues are going to resolve. You're an intuitive woman who understands the emotions of life. And this could just be your feminine energy if you're a man too, getting in tune with your intuition and the feminine energy. Who understands emotions of life. You're bringing that awareness to all that you do. This card upright could also indicate a teacher. Yeah, a feminine energy can come into your life and actually be really supportive and help you elevate out in the world. But also just leading with your heart more, it'll help you get out of the ego and all of the ways that you maybe didn't let yourself receive, the best relationships or the best, all the money or all the opportunities. When you're stuck in the ego, you limit yourself to a very limited plan. That's not the biggest plans. And when you're opening up your heart, and you can transcend all the blocks. You can transcend the blocks with addictions or old behaviors or bad habits, because you're allowing yourself to move from oneness versus, just personal reasons. And that will be very healing and very expansive for you and very, very, very transformative. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. Hi, Scorpio. Okay, so let's see what's coming up for you. So Venus and Uranus enter the 8th house, and this can bring in a lot of shocks to finances. And the 8th house is investments, loans, debts, contracts, like any shared partnerships. It could be royalties. It could be YouTube, like passive income, any sort of passive income, like ad money, ad revenue, stuff like that. But if there's anything that's being shaken up, it is inviting you into the new and inviting you into a lot more abundance. Because with Venus here, it's like, okay, it didn't work out there. There's a better contract here. There's a better way to structure things with money. There's a better way to make, passive income versus feeling like you need to work and strive so hard. So, it is good to actually maybe plant some seeds with what you want to invest in. This could be really just new ideas that come your way, that you could plant seeds for that easy abundance and that, large amount of abundance that can come your way. Versus feeling like you need to work and feeling like you need to grind, feeling like you need to work hourly and hustle for money. This could be you planting seeds for a really nice new beginning with bigger money, large sums of money that want to come in. And the full moon in Capricorn, this is going to be a release of third house, your third house is highlighted. So whatever you do in your daily life, on a daily basis. And this is community. This is also your mentality. This is communication. You could really have a positive shift when it comes to your communication and how you speak to yourself on a daily basis. Because you're believing, with Jupiter and the sun in your ninth house, you're believing that you can achieve anything, and you are in alignment, getting into alignment, because Jupiter's newly in here still, but with your meaning and purpose in life. And when that happens, everything just flows a lot easier in all areas of your life. So believe in that vision that you want for your life. And, maybe you're traveling, maybe you're opening up your world in a whole different way. Maybe you're pursuing some sort of knowledge, whatever you're really getting excited about, whatever kind of opens you up, whatever you're optimistic about, follow that, because that can really completely change your mindset and what you do in your daily life, and kind of, set you on the path towards easier abundance, and deeper meaning and fulfillment in your life. And with Mars crossing the South Node, there might be a release of friendships. Your friends could be acting agitating right now, and maybe there's some that you need to release, but there's others that you're really aligning with, that are really motivating you towards that bigger direction and your bigger aspirations and your hopes and dreams for the future. And you might be letting go of a friendship, but Mars rules your sixth house. So maybe it's just a coworker that you were friends with, that, maybe there's another job and a new opportunity and a bigger aspiration of where you really do want to go. And you're releasing an old, hope or dream, so you can align with a new hope and dream that is really motivating and inspiring you into a bigger direction out in the world. But Mars rules you. So there might be an aspect of yourself and your identity or old role that you've taken on that is no longer fitting with where you're motivated to go in the future now. So you're releasing that old aspect of yourself so you can step into that bigger version of yourself and really follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your passion. With Saturn and Neptune in the sixth house, there could be more clarity when it comes to work. If there has been chaos at work with Neptune in the sixth house, there can be a lot of egos. There can be a lot of just confusion of what's going on. But this is for you to get more serious about what you do want to do when it comes to work and your routines, and maybe your health and diet. So you can take care of your health and your diet, and find that nice, easy flow with what really works for you. And then maybe if there has been an annoying coworker in your orbit, manifest them away. I manifested away my neighbor. You can affirm anything and it'll work. So anyway, if you want to do that, go ahead. But it's, all for the highest good of all, though, or just, the better way is to manifest a better job opportunity and just focus on you. Always there's more power with focusing on you, unless they're your neighbor and, you don't have a choice, and she deserved it. So anyway, she's safe or whatever, but I haven't seen her and she hasn't been home. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So this Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your 10th house, which has to do with who you are out in the world. It's your reputation. It's your public image. It's your career. And there's going to be a realignment with that. And, it's going to be opposite Pluto. So maybe there's intensity with home and family, and maybe you got to move for work, or maybe you got to find more time for home and family time, but you want to be in alignment with what you're doing out in the world with your career. And it's all about, how can you find that balance? How can you just find, whatever is going to be, the easiest way of making abundance out in the world with living from your heart and allowing the best things to come in, but still paying attention to family time and what's really important to your heart and your soul. Because, yeah, women with a coin came out. Let's see. Women, whoa. Women with a coin came out. So either way, you will be abundant. You have to know that you will be abundant and you will succeed. But it looks like, yeah, this is a portal. Interesting. This is a portal for the masculine energy. So there's definitely a way that maybe you were too driven or taking in action in a specific way that was actually limiting. You know, maybe it was from the ego where you can release any of the blocks. You can transcend more out of the ego into receiving mode. You know, the way we can manifest the best is getting in tune with our vision internally first, and even visualizing like 10 minutes in the morning every day with how you want things to go, what opportunities you want to receive, whatever you want into your life. So when you do get up and when you know, do go out into the world, like everything kind of falls into place a lot easier. So this is like divine masculine really figuring out a more powerful way to take action out in the world. And it's like active, it's very electric. And there's going to be just a portal, realizations. Ooh, infinite mind, awakened consciousness. Yeah, so you're elevating. You're definitely going to be freed from something and have a whole new perspective of things. With Uranus entering the 8th house, you could be, freed from a lot, and this could be you feeling like you need to, work more out of shame or out of guilt or, any of those lower ways when you could actually free, a lot of those dense emotions and, just elevate yourself to receive abundance in the easiest way possible from the heart. So yeah, the heart came out, and that is just, yeah, it just looks like you're going through a masculine purge to release a lot of what you thought would make you happy, or a lot of the ways that you even thought that you were living from the heart. So you can truly live from the heart. So you can truly like receive that abundance. The ego is tricky. Sometimes like it can, just trick us into a way of seeing the world that is actually self-serving and, the ego versus like connecting to oneness. So yeah, Angel of Love came out. That's where your abundance is coming. So follow your heart, especially with Jupiter in the 9th house. Follow your heart, follow your happiness, follow your optimism, follow your joy, follow that adventure. That's where all the money and all the stability can really, really come from. Yeah. And since Mercury retrograde is just getting you into alignment with that. So I love that. You might be a little bit draining. Definitely take care of yourself with Mars crossing the South Node, because that could, just be a little bit like your energy just feeling like it's gone or just like it's drained. So self-care, self-love, and let yourself go through that internal shedding of past beliefs that like were keeping you stuck and that you felt like you need to like push and go and work so hard and things needed to be a certain way, that it was just, heavy. It was creating a lot of heaviness. And it was part of an old cycle that's almost done that you're breaking out of. And let me read the raccoon. Okay, the raccoon. The raccoon. Okay, so talented, shadow, we in hiding. So raccoon energy is at play within all artists to greater or lesser degrees. Yeah, the North Node is in your 5th house. So you're meant to let go of that bigger vision and kind of connect to oneness in your heart and open up your heart and shed all the layers so you can really tap into that creativity and that inspiration. And that's what's going to give you the biggest boost. When you're heading towards the North Node, life just flows. Life is really easy. And when it's in Pisces, we're connecting to our higher self and that powerful feminine energy and just source, God, prime creator, whatever you want to call it. So you can really just allow more love and more flow and abundance for you and abundance for the highest good of all. But yeah, some of you definitely artists, and maybe it's tapping into that like shadow or some aspect of yourself that you've been hiding where you can allow more of the art to flow. So Raccoon energy is at play within all artists to a greater or lesser degrees. At best, it indicates talent, tenacity, and skillfulness with a particular musical instrument or creative tool. Its shadow side points to an unresolved issue around self-image and success. Sometimes using a stage name or wearing a mask works in the artist's favor. Other times it limits creativity. Am I who my audience thinks I am? What if I am ready to grow into something more? Raccoon energy won't let us off the hook until this creative ego fear is resolved. So when in balance, generous friend, exceptional artists. When out of balance, competitive, starving artists. Bring into balance by make new work. So yeah, you're being called in a big way to not please the group, not please the people, not please the, the bigger societal whoever you're connecting with, or like focus. You don't want to be focused on co-collaborations. You want to be focused on your passion and your inspiration and your creativity and the way that you can express yourself in a whole new way. And when you figure that out and when you can have more fun and excitement with it, it lets you kind of radiate more of your charisma out in the world. So there's definitely something that you can kind of dive deeper into yourself and find that liberation with who you truly are. And yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Scorpio. Hi, Sagittarius. Okay. So this is an exciting month for you. So Venus and Uranus enter your seventh house. This is going to be shaking up your relationships a little bit. Uranus kind of brings in shakeups. It's the tower, it's the star, it's the Hi, Sagittarius. Okay, so there's going to be a big focus on relationships this month because Venus enters your seventh house and Uranus enters your seventh house. So relationships going good. Venus brings harmony, it brings balance, it brings in good connections. So if you're single, this could be a really good time to meet somebody new and, meet somebody who's really different, maybe a little eccentric. Maybe they just march the beat to their own drum. Maybe they're a little bit rebellious. Maybe they're very intelligent. But yeah, they can just be different. Uranus, shakes things up. Sometimes it is the Tower card. So it does knock down anything that's not serving your highest good. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So there's some higher aspects that definitely want to come in through relationships. And, they could get you interested in something, or they could open up your world in a whole different way. But I think this is really helpful because, Uranus is, a manifestation planet. It brings in things really fast, and especially with robotic affirmations. I think you could be really powerful with robotically affirming the type of relationship that you want to bring into your life that, could, really open up your world in a whole new way. So if there is shakeup in relationships, though, this could just be a need to rebalance things. So you move forward in a, better way, especially since Mars is going to be squaring Venus in your seventh house. So there can be some frustration when it comes to masculine energy needing to let go of rigidity and perfectionism and needing things to look a certain way, especially when it comes to your reputation and who you are out in the world. And then find that balance with, your relationships and which relationships are really important to you. What kind of relationships do you want to bring in? This could also be a really different way to kind of come up with a marketing strategy. Like maybe you receive some sort of just inspiration so you can reach out to clients and different people that you want to, magnetize into your orbit. But Uranus, especially in Gemini, I think it's really powerful to do robotic affirmations so you can attract in the right people for you. If you're single, this is a good one to kind of manifest somebody into your life. I think they could be really serious And I will give you the affirmations. If you do want to manifest in someone special in your life, like write down exactly what you want and like who is your perfect husband. Write it all down. Get really, really specific. People always get mad when they miss that like one thing that they wanted. So you can get really, really specific and check all the boxes. And then you just say an affirmation like, I am manifesting in my perfect husband. He is so in love with me. Oh my God. And speak about it like you're bragging to somebody so you can attract somebody into your life. Because with Neptune and Saturn going retrograde, this can be also a reality check when it comes to love. And, so you can, recognize more of what you want in love and how you can have more of that unconditional love, how you can remove any blocks. When you get more so ignited by your passions or your creativity and have a lot of self-love, you can attract in, the people that are exactly right for you. People always say like, how should I act to, manifest somebody like that? Or how should I act to manifest in my ideal relationship? Like the more you can just act like you is how you're going to find that person that loves all parts of you, that can, that allows you to just have that self-love and just allows you to radiate because you're rating more of your original frequency when you're expressing like more of who you truly are and going after what you're really passionate about. So you can attract in really strong soul connections for you. So great time to manifest in, your connections. And also, it's also a powerful time if you want to do affirmations to change up the dynamics in your relationships. You can definitely start with it internally first and then have it, happen a lot smoother externally. So yeah, I like that. As Uranus is the Fool card, which is kind of like jumping into something new, kind of like we like this sounds fun. And then the Tower card, which is breaks stuff down because the foundation wasn't solid. And then the Star, like you got to be in touch with that vision of what you really want when it comes to relationships. And this is relationships of all kinds. It can be romantic, but it could be your ideal clients. You're manifesting in your ideal clients. You're manifesting in the ideal friendships. Just like affirm, I have the best relationships. It'll happen. Okay. And then, yeah, Neptune, Saturn going retrograde in your fifth house. So, just maybe there's some sort of clarity when it comes to creative projects or the way you express yourself. So, but you can get in alignment in a way that you truly do want to express yourself from more so from your heart and your soul versus from your ego. Because Mars is going to be going over the South Node. So there's something that you're releasing when it comes to your career and your public image and who you've been out in the world so far. That could be just too limiting. It could be just too egocentric. It could be, and I say egocentric because, Mercury rules the mind. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And there can just be a reprogramming, with how you, like how you've kind of limited yourself and how you maybe kept yourself in a box when it comes to who you are out in the world and your reputation. And ego results are just always smaller. There's so many ways that our ego can kind of keep us limited, keep us blocked off from, the highest amount of money that we can receive, the best relationships, or the right opportunities. So definitely important to get into your heart and your soul and to open up and to kind of release. And the more that you can follow your heart and follow your passion and open your heart too, the more that you will be led in the right direction towards what's really meant for you. Because Mars also rules your 12th house too. So maybe there were unconscious patterns, like unconscious ways of being, ways that you maybe self-sabotage yourself or ways that you weren't listening to your higher self, that you can be connected to that greater source of abundance and more in flow with, the unconditional love and the divine feminine energy and oneness to manifest your best dreams in the easiest way possible. And And then let's see, Mars crossing Saturn. Mercury retrograde in your ninth house. So there's going to be a review of your beliefs, and there could be a release of a lot of beliefs. The ninth house is kind of like how we see the world. It's all the knowledge that we currently have, that so we see our options to manifest our reality in the best way. And the more that you can expand on your knowledge and what you know about the world, knowledge is power. It gives you more options to create that vision that you really want and to be more so on your Dharma timeline. But this is also getting aligned with your meaning and purpose in life, and what's really resonating from your heart, and what really matters to you when it comes to that bigger vision, in that bigger story that you want to live. And yeah, it might challenge some certain beliefs. With this opposite Pluto, I want to get into any debates or anything, or be careful of debates, because especially with the new moon in Leo, because that's going to be opposite Pluto. So you can really have like a real back and forth with what they believe versus what other people believe. But know that there's room for everybody's beliefs, and everybody is believing in whatever they need to believe at the right time until they believe in more, and whatever else they believe in. Let people kind of go through their evolution, but it does help to plant some seeds, if you have any. And then the new moon in Leo, yeah, it's planting like a bigger, brighter vision of what you want to achieve out in the world. Ninth house is that bigger adventure, that, excitement of where, your higher soulful self is calling you. So you go like live life with more meaning and purpose. And yeah, you could be, planning a trip or something, or starting some sort of spiritual path or educational pursuit, or just, doing something different. And that sounds fun and, fiery and exciting, because ninth house is Sagittarius energy. So sometimes it's not always planned. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's fun, let's do that. It seems random. And it's like, wow, like what's on the other side of this? This is exciting. So you can definitely get in tune with that. But yeah, this bigger, sorry, wait, okay, 1 sec. The clarity that you're getting from your beliefs, and, beliefs with what you can possibly manifest out in the world. A belief is literally just, a thought that we think over and over and over again, and it's just like embedded. This can be a good time to reprogram any of those beliefs if any of them are limiting. So you can say all the affirmations like, I am powerful, I am expansive, I manifest everything that I want, I'm manifesting it faster. Whatever is getting you towards that bigger goal and destination that you want to go towards, can really, you can have a very powerful transformation with your mindset. With Pluto in the third house, that is like a transformation with your mindset, with the way you do things in your everyday life. And is it powerful with going towards your bigger goals and dreams and aspirations? And yeah, I think you're really powerful with your mind in general. So making sure that your mindset is in the right place every day is, in alignment with your heart and what you really want to achieve is really, yeah, a powerful direction. Okay, so Goddess of the Moon came out reversed. So there is a part of your higher self that you might have been ignoring that you can kind of get in touch with. Divine feminine energy coming out very strongly. King of Air. And you can make a plan with it. So like they were stuck together. So I didn't even see that they were together. But Empress energy, like there's some sort of new abundance that can come in. And it could be something that's really solid, that brings in a lot of security, but that is in touch with the feminine energy of what's good for the highest good of all, and what's more so in tune with your creativity and where your heart is calling you. So you can transcend any like past blocks that you had mentally towards going after your biggest manifestations. And yeah, law of assumption affirmations could be really powerful too. You just got to assume that you're worth like, that job, that promotion, that, status, that opportunity. And yeah, I think it's going to lead to a bigger plan that can actually be logical and a part of like what you're doing out in the world. But yeah, when you get in tune with your higher self and your like soulful aspects of yourself, you're going to realize how much you can manifest in a lot easier way, and that abundance is already yours. It is already yours. You're releasing all of the blocks where, either you were just deceived by past programming or deceived by, just people saying you can't do it. Like, you are really getting in tune with how you can do it, how you can manifest that, that dream. And you already have the tools. You already have everything that you need right now. It's just kind of all of that shedding that you're doing to release whatever was stopping you. So you can jump, so you can leap. The Fool card came out, Uranus card came out. So there's definitely going to be probably a leap towards something. And it is part of this shamanic journey. I kind of want to read this shamanic journey. Purpose, attunement, vision quest. Yep, you're getting aligned with your vision quest and your ultimate vision of what you want to do. Okay, let's do the crocodile first, since I found this book. Crocodile came out earlier. Forget for which one. Crocodile. Okay. Resting, submerging, collecting energy, cooling off. The crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and turn inward. Now is not the time for decisions, actions, or discussions. The crocodile's mantra is wait. This doesn't mean lying around hoping life's challenges will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that. It means intentionally withdrawing, gathering our awareness, observing and building energy, filling up the vital reserves so your next move comes from a place of wisdom and power. So yeah, make sure you spend some time really cooling off and really getting in tune with your inner vision. And that is the most powerful way of manifesting, is if you visualize like 10 minutes, every day in the morning. It kind of, gets you can take the next best steps and the next, just flow along with your achieving your manifestations. And it actually doesn't have to be hard. We were taught in the inverted way, where we have to take action to be successful, but actually, like, we got to just get in tune with the inner vision first. And then actually it happens all a lot easier. Maybe shamanic journey doesn't want to be read. One sec. Yes, it does. Here we go. Okay. Shamanic journey, purpose, attunement, vision quest, because this is totally like ninth house things, Okay, so with radiant shamanic priestess rides the wind horse before the full moon. Did I talk about the full moon? Oh yeah, no, I didn't. So there's a full moon in Capricorn in your second house too, putting a spotlight on your finances and your resources. And you can really boost up your value and your self-worth and, do those law of assumption things. So you can embed it in you that you are worthy of more, and, kind of boost up your money, boost up your income. Maybe there's been a way that you've been a workaholic and like striving way too hard, where you can actually get more in tune with the feminine energy or that receiving energy. So you can receive that higher inspiration and guidance from your higher self. So you can like make the dream happen in an easy, effortless way. Okay. So this radiant shamanic priestess rides the wind horse before the full moon, heralding a sacred time for you, one that can lead you into greater personal healing and radical transformation. A literal or metaphorical journey awaits you, unearthing such profound wisdom. Your life may never be the same. If you wonder what is your true purpose, what your true purpose is, now is the time to open up and receive. Receive, make time for receiving. The white feathers of the priestess's headdress are a symbol of spirit, messages about freedom from the mundane world. The pursuit of spiritual matters may be where your greatest purpose lies. And the expression of your spirit's value and power may come in forms of shamanic practices like healing, ceremony, psychic vision. Let yourself look first to this side of you, for it could reveal some core purpose from which all other intentions are and activities grow. The antlers in the priestess's left hand is a symbol of higher connection. Since a young deer regularly sheds its antlers, the message here is to take some time to learn what old perceptions need to be shed for your own growth and higher purpose. Attune to the voice of your higher self, and don't be afraid to let go. For promise of new opportunities and expanded perceptions is clear. These new approaches will illuminate your passage in your vision quest. You deserve to devote yourself to your own soulful evolution. Meditate on your purpose and envision the inner and outer journeys that will bring you to greater attunement once you prioritize this process. Your purpose will be fulfilled in a magical and even miraculous ways. Did I literally just say all of that? Okay. So affirmation, I am attuned to the shaman within. I devote myself to my own soul's journey and I am blessed. Yeah, you're getting all that insight and all that knowledge from within, and it's going to like blow open the doors for you so you can go manifest your greatest magical, highest timeline journey in the most fun way possible. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. I just received some crazy synchronicity. So I'm just going to say, like, pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities because magical ones could be coming in. And that's very important in your everyday life to kind of follow that guidance with the North Node in your third house. And because there's magical connections that want to come in with Jupiter and the Sun in your seventh house, putting a spotlight on relationships. And Jupiter wants to bring relationships that are lucky, that are expansive, that bring you a lot of wisdom, growth, and opportunities. And yeah, we just got over last month where there was maybe some frustrations when it comes to relationships and home and family and foundation, and you needing to stand up to relationships in a whole new way so you don't deal with bullshit and so you can have the most fulfilling relationships, putting up boundaries where you need to put up boundaries, but also letting down boundaries, maybe where you need to let down boundaries or resetting new boundaries. But yeah, now it's beautiful. Now it's magical. So your everyday life is going to be really magical and in flow. And then there's strong soulmate relationships definitely coming in. And the seventh house is like clients. It is, it's like romantic relationships, clients, sorry, romantic client. Okay, no, I got this. I don't need a coffee. Okay. Romantic, business, friendships, business partnerships, family, like whatever one-on-one relationship is what you were dealing with. And there could have been some frustration of you like really needing to stand up for yourself. But now things are magical. Now you can have a really transformative mindset and better communication when it comes to your relationships. And yeah, this is a great time to manifest in a relationship if you're single, really get in tune with what you emotionally want to feel in your relationships. And yeah, I love, manifest. You can manifest in a relationship by getting really specific with what you want in your relationship, write it all down and then just affirm often, like, I am now manifesting in my perfect husband. I am now manifesting in my perfect husband. He is so obsessed with me. He is so in love. And yeah, you can like hype yourself up, emotionally. So you're feeling it. So you can magnetize them in to your life. But yeah, I think you did a lot of transforming of things like, from the darkness, the nightingale comes out. And when that comes out, maybe there was things from the deep past and family stories that needed to be like resurrected in a frustrating way. So you can find the beauty in the dark, Adele has that Gene Key 12, the Nightingale, and she sings, romantic, sad songs. So she brings, beauty to the dark. That could be something that you're just finishing up the process of, because there still might be some frustrations, but, in the first part of the month, but you're getting out of it. So you've been through it with relationships. So You're getting out of it though, so don't worry. Um, so with the full moon in Capricorn, there's going to be a spotlight on you. So this is about you, yourself, your identity, what you're passionate about, who you want to be out in the world. And you're recognizing maybe what old aspects of your identity or roles that you've taken on that you can release, that you can shed, because there's something that, it's going to be trine Mars crossing the South Node in the ninth house. Maybe there was a certain belief that you had about the world and the way that it works that was actually limiting you, that was keeping you from being your full authentic self and from going after your passions and from connecting with those like-minded people that you really resonate with. And so yeah, you can shine more of your authentic self and attract those relationships and friendships that are really, meant for you. And who cares about disapproval of family with Mars going over the South Node? You might be releasing some beliefs about childhood or just beliefs that your family has that expects you to believe in, but you believe in something different, or 11th house things, which is friendships, and old hopes and old aspirations. Maybe you just thought you could only go like a certain amount, but now this is like freeing you and releasing those old beliefs to make you realize how much more magical this reality is. When you tune into your higher self and you let go of the ego and those restraints, you can transcend to your higher self and all the blocks kind of release. And so really tune into your inner self and, your inner world and what you're saying. There's a lot of lightening up because the thinking man came out reverse. It's time to feel, be in the body, be in your intuition, and like at least know what you value and visualize, like, and connect to the magic in life again, versus being too logical. Because I think there were ways that you blocked yourself off from seeing the magic when you see the magic, that's how the dreams can happen a lot easier. And yeah, it's definitely releasing financial constraints, reverse. So anything that was lack mentality with this Mercury retrograde going on in the eighth house, you're reviewing your finances and investments and contracts, loans, and you can really have a powerful transformation with where you were maybe leading any of those things out of lack or limitation or survival versus believing that this is an abundant universe. And as long as you're tuning your frequency and your perception to that perception, then you will find that it is an abundant universe and you will find the abundance, girl. So like, yeah, a lot of ideas coming your way. And yeah, because Mars is exalting you. Like, you're meant to be powerful. You're meant to have powerful beliefs with what you're meant to achieve with your meaning and purpose. And that's what you're getting fired up with. So you're stepping into the masculine emperor energy in a whole new way that is very powerful. And so you're going to have a lot of breakthroughs. There might be a conversation coming your way that kind of frees you up. But yeah, this also the eighth house, it is transforming the dark. It is transforming any resentments, guilt, judgments, projections from other people. Shame is the lowest on the frequency. Like any of those lower dense emotions on the lowest part of the frequency is what you're releasing so you can free yourself, so you can create the abundance in the life and really take charge with what is really meant for you. Okay. Yep. Innovation. So there's a way with work that you are innovating because there's like, with the new beliefs that you will have, and you can robotically affirm until you have powerful beliefs. So definitely recommend that. And you can really just pay more attention to your manifestations and what you want to manifest into your life. And that does reprogram your beliefs too. But yeah, there will be kind of friction. So you do work in a certain way. So you do the grind in a different way. And the more that you can, lead with an open heart and just grateful optimism, and you'll have that more joyous view of life, and that will lead you towards innovation. and easy abundance and new creations that actually want to come in. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. Oh man, this is exciting. So Venus is entering your fifth house, Uranus is entering your fifth house. So this is like shaking up your love life, you know? You can meet somebody really randomly that, you know, and they could be very eccentric, very different, very rebellious, very like ingenious in a certain way. They could be just, you know, be breaking out of the box and not living in any boxes. So that's very exciting if you've been looking for new energy when it comes to dating, because I love how Uranus is going to be trining Pluto in your first house. So it's like these new relationships can really open you up and open you up to more authenticity and more of, you know, how you can radiate more of your authenticity and have that transformation. So you can have more self-love and express yourself in, you know, more creative ways, because Venus in the fifth house, it's all about your self-expression, your creativity, your paying attention to your passions and what you want to create out in the world. You can receive also a lot of like creative business ideas now with Uranus and Venus in the fifth house, or just like a lot of inspiration so you can manifest your life in a really super fun way. So if you're single, this is a great time to, you know, manifest someone into your life and, you know, write down everything that you want and just affirm, I am magnetizing in my soulmate. They are so in love with me. They are obsessed with me. Be careful with that one. Like maybe don't say they're obsessed with me, but something like that, and just affirm, affirm, affirm. That's really, really powerful with Uranus and Gemini. So you can magnetize in those loving connections that open you up. Because yeah, they'll also change up your mentality and possibly your work and what you do on a daily basis. With Neptune and Saturn in your third house, this is your daily life. So whatever you do on a daily basis in your life, but this is also your mentality and your ways of communicating. You can have a lot of revelations. Maybe you realize you were being too hard on yourself. Maybe you realize you were monitoring something in your head that wasn't out of self-love, that wasn't like really boosting you up to go create out in the world. And, you know, you were owning your full, like authentic, powerful voice, which you are supposed to be like really powerful with your voice now. And, you know, more of a inspiring leader, you know, out in the world, but inspiring leader in a fun way. Okay. So, you know, leaders aren't like how they're supposed to be currently right now. Leaders with the ego and with all of that. Leaders are supposed to be leaders because they're inspiring, because they inspire new thoughts, new ideas, new like whatever. So it lifts you up, you know, it lifts the collective up. So that's definitely what you're getting in tune with. And so go after your passion, follow your heart, open your heart. If you're in a relationship, this is a good time to kind of like really be authentic with your voice and what you love, and how you can be loved in a better way. So you go through a heart opening in your relationship. And there's going to be a full moon in Capricorn. So there's going to be a spotlight in your 12th house. So this is going to be highlighting, you know, the 12th house, which is the ways we self-sabotage. It is our higher self though. So we can also receive like, you know, downloads and dreams and inspirations from our higher self. It is what's been hidden, you know, so something could be illuminated that was hidden, whether it is like something in your life or whether it is just like a way that you can handle life in your everyday life in a better way, like, and not sabotage yourself. There's so many ways we self-sabotage ourselves, like being on the phone for way too long or something like that, where you can kind of release. And yeah, there is a nice trine with Mars in the South Node. So there is something you're definitely letting go of what you didn't see before in the past, and maybe it led to self-sabotage, but you're releasing whatever financial stuff from it. So with Mars crossing the South Node, you might be releasing some sort of contracts or some sort of investments or some sort of partnership. The eighth house is, money. It's the bulky money. It's the investments. It's property. It's loans. Maybe you're clearing out debts and maybe you're getting a rebate. But it could have to do with work, maybe because Mars rules your 10th house. So there could be a way you're releasing like an old aspect of yourself, because the 8th house is that deep internal healing. So it's maybe you powering through like the guilt and the shame and any of those lower vibrational feelings. So you can release yourself and not be stuck in the past and let your emotions flow a bit more and not let these heavier emotions like hold you back, because these could be fears too from really achieving out in the world. And maybe you've been stopping yourself in a certain way. So you can go achieve out in the world in the way you want to achieve, in the way that you're going to be the most powerful. And it does improve your mindset too with whatever you're releasing here, whether it is like certain money things or just internal things. And then there's going to be the Mercury retrograde in Leo. So yeah, you're going to be going over relationships, and this could be intense because you have to stand up for yourself in relationships. And actually you get to, because you are powerful now with Pluto in the first house. It is like divine will coming through you, and you are serving the collective. You are serving not just yourself, you're of service to the collective now. And Pluto will make you powerful. So you are in power positions. So you are dealing with powerful people, but you're going to have to learn how to stand up for yourself and be that most powerful, authentic version of yourself. So with Pluto, Mercury, that will be opposite Pluto. There might be just a back and forth with relationships. You really revising what you need in love, since Mercury rules your 5th house, how you want to be loved, how you can have more of that expansive, authentic love. And also with the 8th house, this could be shared finances. So, maybe talking about how things can be more balanced in your relationship, who pays for what, but having those deeper conversations. So you really, have relationships that are based on more love and more from the heart. And then also, this could be talking about the deeper insecurities and everything. So, you can have more love and not, be held back in any way. But I love this. Oh, yeah. And it could just be negotiating creative projects with a business partnership too, and kind of going on with a back and forth. And there could be a little bit of friction, but it's just to find balance and maybe release where things were too particular or controlled or, based on perfectionism, where you can actually believe in the abundance of this universe and the the imagination that can open you up to all the different creative opportunities of making money and making abundance happen in your life. And yeah, okay, let's see. Okay, let me pull some cards. That's great. Yeah, releasing any lack mentality about money is really powerful too. So angel of strength, you're really getting aligned with your heart. And you're kind of going on a little bit of a temple path this month. So you might have to get lost in yourself or on an adventure or something, but that's just so you find the magic in life again. So you follow the signs and the synchronicities. And so you get that guidance from the universe. And angel of strength came out. That is Leo energy too. So, and strength card is always like, like a couple that goes through a fight and has those tougher conversations. So there can be more love and there can be more like, just tightness in the relationship. Like you can really get through anything, as long as you're being, vulnerable and honest with your significant other and in relationships. Oh, I love this. Yeah. So yeah, Zebra came out. So you're finding your shine, you're finding your unique shine, how you can just radiate like more of your soul's essence, through you. You got to you're unblocking your heart even more so you can radiate the presence from within and be more magnetic to everything that you want. And there will be innovation too. There will be some sort of breakthroughs that lead to creative innovation. You are creative AF now. Like if anybody needs a better way to do things, you're being able to do it. You're going to be able to come up with new systems, new creations, new inspirations. And, you can be very powerful with finding the group that you're really meant to work with. Oh, okay. So yeah, with Neptune in the third, like I've heard a couple Aquarius, talk about like, God, why can't I remember everything? Why does everything seem like a bubble and all over? Neptune in the third house. But where this is powerful is being in touch with your higher self and the bigger visions, the bigger dreams that want to be birthed through you. And what you need to do is be inspirational and just speak it into existence. And then you'll find your people and it'll be exciting. It'll be adventurous because the fox came out too. So you're finding that winding path of where you're supposed to go to find like who and what is really meant for you. So let me read the fox too. Earth energy. Fox, smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. The fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. So when in balance, magical, ingenious teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity. Bring into balance, partnership, connection. So yeah, partnerships and connections are coming in for you this month. So you can radiate more of who you truly are in unique essence. I love that. So find partners that are really like supportive and uplifting and let you radiate and shine and find that unique spark and like, yeah, just bring that inspiration to you that are, soulmate connections that usually remind you more of yourself too. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so this looks very magical month for you. I love how Jupiter and the Sun are in your fifth house. You're charismatic, you're focused on fun, you're focused on creation. You could be receiving a lot of like inspirational ideas from your higher self so you can manifest and create more of what you want to create out in the world. And there's going to be a trine to the North Node in your first house. So whatever you're creating can help you really grow and evolve. And also this can bring in a lot of strong partnerships that help you expand into that bigger version of yourself and more of your soulful essence. And Uranus and Venus in the fourth house is beautifying your home. When Venus is in the fourth house, you can beautify the home, make things organized, make things really nice, and then also find a lot of healing when it comes to family. Uranus might bring some shakeups when it comes to, your home and foundation. But if that happens, you're meant to move. Uranus represents the tower. So, sometimes things get knocked down, but that's because the foundation was never solid. So you're meant to kind of like, fall out. And like Uranus is also the star. So you can dream a new dream. So you can be connected with that vision of that stability and that family that you really want. And family doesn't have to be blood. Family could be just strong soulmate connections that are, really tight and really there for you. And yeah, it's also Uranus represents, I don't want to say Uranus so many times, but Uranus also represents the Fool. So it's like taking a leap into what you truly want. Maybe you want to live where you really want to live. And you could get really lucky actually with moving, since Venus is in your fourth house. Maybe you get a better deal. Maybe you get, yeah, maybe you find your dream place. So with the full moon in Capricorn is, happening in your 11th house. So there's a release of friendships, when it comes to your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future. I mean, not a release. Okay, there's a spotlight here. So you're really looking at your friendships and you're seeing who you really alignment. Oh, okay, that's why there's a release. Who's in alignment and who's, kind of boosting you up to your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future, and who's not. Because with Mars in the 7th house, some relationships might be acting a little aggro. And maybe, there are aspects when it comes to being in relationships that you need to release, like maybe feeling like you need to be too of service. Maybe, there's just karma that you need to release when it comes to relationships, some sort of old cycles. Just something ending about relationships. And it just might be a relationship dynamic that changes, or it might be cutting away of a relationship. So you're freeing yourself from, old relationships so you can accept in the abundant relationships that want to enter your life, that are going to boost you up in a very magical way out in the world with more fun and creativity and excitement and more flexibility and growth with who you're supposed to be out in the world. And, so you can believe in the magic and creating magic in your life. I hope you liked my hand movements. Okay, so Mars also crossing the South Node. Maybe it has to do with some sort of income or money, or, there's certain ways that you might have felt like you needed to receive approval from other people to boost up your self-worth. But now you got to recognize, like, you can only boost up your self-worth from yourself. And, it would be a powerful time to do affirmations that boost up your self-worth. I love law of assumption, affirmations. You just assume everything, and you can have really powerful affirmations. And with Neptune and Saturn going retrograde in your 2nd house, there's going to be kind of a reflection when it comes to finances and how you make money. Do you want to create a new business? Do you want to create, multiple income streams? How do you feel powerful when it comes to money and resources and that stability and foundation? This is the time to dream a big, brilliant dream with that and make it happen. Magic can happen with Neptune in your 2nd house when it comes to money and resources, because, like an Aquarius rising, oh my God, like so much money in, so much money out, and so much money back in again, like after Neptune went through their 2nd house. So make the dream happen with your money. It can happen. You have to believe it. Okay. So, and then let's see, full moon in Capricorn did that. Then Mercury retrograde in your 6th house. Yeah, there's going to be something about your everyday life, your health and routines that you're going to be going over. Maybe you're cutting out a lot of busy work. Maybe you're delegating work to other people. Maybe you're finding a routine that really taking care of yourself and your body that really helps boost up your confidence and, just your daily life, so you can show up out in the world in the best way possible. And yeah, the new moon in Leo, you're really planting seeds with, work. You can really, this would be a powerful time to maybe go after that dream job or start a project for your business, or, either way, facing Pluto and getting out of any ways of self-sabotage so you can be super abundant out in the world. Cobra. I'm going to read the Cobra. Yep. So there's ways that you weren't listening to your higher self, in that you might have been stuck in ego where you can be more unlimited and you will be released from all the ways that you kept your vision too small, or the ways that you led in the ego way versus leading in the higher self way, because you're getting a lot of just inspirations from your higher self and signs and synchronicities with where you can go. And you actually already have everything that you need to make magic happen in your life. And it's all about releasing attachment. Attachment came out reverse. So maybe there's ways that you've been stopping yourself from manifesting everything that you want, and really just tuning into your inner self and your compass, so you can manifest like everything that you need. And you have it all right now. It's just like a shift in perspective. It's just a shift in your beliefs and letting go of really what's no longer serving you. Mhm. 10 of water, yep. Because you're creating a family and a foundation and soulmate connections that are going to be deeply, deeply fulfilling. So pay attention. This is like visualize your highest dream possible. Pay attention to that biggest, brightest dream, and it can happen a lot easier. I would visualize like your just visualize it 10 minutes every day in the morning, and you can really get in tune with this energy and really get uplifted and be guided by that inspiration with how you can manifest in a really fun way. Yeah, because getting that is kind of revamping your masculine energy, the emperor. There's a way that you can manifest your greatest reality that is easy and effortless, and there's ideas coming your way or communication coming your way that is leading you towards all these things in the magic. But it's all about you receiving and being open to it. And for you to receive and be open to it, you got to be in that higher vibration. You got to open up your heart. You got to be in happiness, joy, creativity, like abundance, like whatever gets you like feeling like up there, that will like give you everything that you need. So Cobra, pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. Cobra represents a teacher or a spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So yeah, or when in balance, a student of life, humble, wise; when out of balance, know-it-all, egocentric. Bring into balance by taking a class, studying. So yeah, I think there's a way that you can open up your world and, just be open to more knowledge that can come your way that can help you manifest in the best way possible and kind of really empower your emperor energy. And it is like there's less needing to push and prove and grind and workaholic it is more so just getting your energy right, so your masculine energy can be in tune with oneness in source, so you can create in the best way. So yeah, you can give yourself time to relax and chill, and then like when you get the inspiration, then you know when to act like towards everything that you want. All right, thank you so much, Pisces.